those imbalances, and oh boy, here it comes right back into the downside right there. We just said we're taking a break long at 47, and we just got filled again on our short at 46. So yeah, wild thoughts, Aldeyra.
Keep an eye on Foremost Clean Energy. This is FMST, the company announcing the commencement of its 2025 exploration drill program at the Hatchet Lake Uranium Project. It's located in the Athabasca Basin, and this is going to be basically a 2,000-meter helicopter-supported diamond drill program. Commenced recently, and it's being conducted on behalf of Foremost by Drew's Geological Consulting. So keep an eye here on FMST. Back to you.
All right, I'm covering some more here right now. Yeah, go check them out, FMST. Thanks, Aldeyra, for that one. Here we go to the downside right now. If you haven't liked this stream, please like it right now. Over 10,000 of you watching. There it is, man. The TQs, we're taking some more out. It's a good win. It's 85 handles. We should take this in case the market does decide to bounce. Nvidia's trying to bounce off 98s. 94s, let's hope not. Palantir, okay, it has that bottom wick there at 79. That could be a bottom if you want to try it. I'm waiting to see what happens on the NASDAQ here for a break, potentially lower through some of these pre-market levels. It's not that they're the pre-market's all the way down there, but this is a new low. Right now, incoming for your boy. There it is, man, spin the money. It's day's goal, hit right there today. We've already talked about that. Let's just keep it going as the NASDAQ is in free fall right now, man. What's up, Tom Petty?
Free fall in. We're in Nike. We're not in AMD, unfortunately, as that one just wicked it and continues to break lower. The iceberg on Nike eventually broke, did a topping tail candle, so we're going reversal on that. Nvidia's not really doing a heck of a lot. Intel, which is absolutely is doing a ridiculous amount of volume, but a huge topping tail on Intel. I'm going to stick with AMD for the short. Alibaba, we got nothing going on. It's trying to get back to 120, so I want to give it some room. It's at 118. It's $2 away from where we want the entry on Alibaba. So I'm not going to jump into it just yet, just trying to play it a little bit calm to see if we can't get our price. I'm looking over at Apple, and Apple just continues to fly. So is it Apple that's going to get to the prior low first? No, that's at $200.
I don't know. I'm going to try Tesla here. Tesla is getting hot right here. I'm just going to try small. I'm not... we're shorting the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ's been the hot fire trade for me so far here today. We don't want to give too much of this back, but that 256 could be, I was going to say we just tried to buy something. We did right there at 257.40, but here it comes right back in again. So this is just because I thought Tesla looked pretty strong there. Look, we're still short the NASDAQ. This is going to work out for us, hopefully. But I was trying to play this off, basically off of VWAP, and if we broke it, then we could cash out. And I was looking at that bottom. That's 253.50. So we'll take again here at 255, and then watch out for that 253.50, because this is not a trade where it's like, let's layer into anything right now. If it wants to go, great. We'll be on board with this. If Tesla breaks this low, I just wanted to see what exactly, we can play off of VWAP, but yeah, 253.50, let's just put that in right now, 253.48. The price really isn't going to matter. It's trading dollars, not pennies right now. So, all right, so it's a huge move down at 125 handles now. We traded this from the jump. This was the short that we had as soon as we sat down, as soon as 8:30 hit, we were short again, boom, there it goes to the downside. It is the TQQs. Obviously, we wish we had waited for better prices on Tesla, but here comes the better price, breaking through 255, that's VWAP. It doesn't look like Tesla wants to hold VWAP, but it's there now, so we will try the long. Look, we're long at 256.50. Hopefully we can get that bounce back. If not, man, then this will be a $3 loss on about 2 units maybe of Tesla. I just think it's worth something down here. Let's see if it goes. But wow, man, those futures continue to go lower. But yeah, bad trade here on Tesla as we took the long probably too early. But we're willing to obviously catch out of it or stop out of this if it gets through that level. So here comes Tesla.
Well, you're absolutely tanking on AMD now. So you can pretty much
I buy Tesla too
in the pop and fade. Nike's basically flat, but at this point, I'm kind of thinking reversion on anything that's strong, which is oddly enough, Apple is looking pretty strong right now. Apple's weird because that's the one we kind of wanted to dip buy on, but if it's going to do that move, if we're first to get there up here at the prior lows, and that's the one I want to jump into. I'll quickly show you guys Nike. This retailer, it came back through VWAP, I'm in, haven't been filled at the $0.50 yet. Want to make sure if at 53 holds where there was an iceberg that we can get a little bit more shares there. It's AMD and Baba.
This is just getting to me.
Yeah, AMD and Baba, the two names that I like to the south side. The Chinese names are getting smoked a little bit here back into the low. So you're actually at low of day. What is going on, chart? There we go. Weird action on the chart there. So right at the low, which I was trying to get 120. So I don't want to be flat bottom breaking and punching
there it
lows in
goes.
this market. So maybe first available pop, look to get something off a current resistant level. There's always a chance that you get the price you want. This is one of those crazy days where I'm looking over, I'm like, everything looks weak, and I'm just staring down Apple going higher and higher, and I'm not believing it. It's like, I don't believe you, Apple. If you're having a tariff war with China, how are you going up like this? So I'm still going to think reversion on this. It's just $3 away from 200, which I think is the big level.
We just got that 150 handles there on the NASDAQ, and it's making that move lower, man. I'm glad we did not get stopped out of that at the high side there. But yeah, we have to stop and fail on our first try at a long there today. It was Tesla. I'm going to still try it if it breaks back above 254, but we got stopped out where we said we would. So now we'll wait to see what winds up happening on Tesla. Hopefully it will battle back, but it's moving, like I said, it's moving dollars. So we're not going to try to layer into two. There we go. We just got long again. We're not going to try to layer into too many shares here on Tesla, just because of how, see how violent it is right there. It rips up, goes up about 20 or 30 cents, then comes right back in again. So, we're waiting to catch that tail, and, the tail's being wagged pretty good here today to the downside. So, again, if this breaks below, we're trying to make $1 and change on this.
Tell Apple.
Yeah, I know you were saying that about Apple. I'm surprised at that one, to be honest with you. But yeah, good move there. I thought with China, see there it goes again. We just got not a bunch of outs, but we got out 20% there as it rips into 50s. And yeah, it's like take out some on the pop and then just try to wait to see. So right there's 253 breakdown. It goes down to 252. We can play off this last sort of wick right there, but then we're just going to get wicked out again. So trying to take some out as we pop and try to absorb some again here on Tesla. So far not so great there as this name starts to go a little lower. Good thing we were able to cash a little bit out, but it's the TQs. Everything's kind of just, I don't know, you mentioned Apple there. If it's going up, man, I think we should fade it.
Nvidia is tanking. AMD's tanking.
Yeah, so is Tesla.
Bitcoin's falling. Apple is just holding up like an absolute champ. And when I'm staring it down, it's like, okay, well, what's the setup that's available right now? And it's essentially just a trend break. I'm going to get rid of this again. Just simply a trend break. We're just trying to do, it's just so early to try to establish a trend line here. I'd like it to press even higher at this particular moment, but you're just not really seeing it. So just going to have to be patient with this bad boy. AMD just broke $88. Let me just cancel orders. I'm like $3 away on AMD. AMD just broke $88 to the downside. That's getting absolutely destroyed. Intel, which was trying to go, that's also fading. I'm going to play off this local high here on. I just don't believe this on Apple. So we'll just get in.
I would agree with that. Yeah, Fabian is telling us to get those like counts going. We have over 12,000 of you. Fabian said 1,200, but of course he means 12,000 people watching right now. Make sure you do. I was like 1,200. Was the stream down? Yeah. Let's go, guys. Get those likes going as we, if you hit the like button, it's more likely that your stocks will trade properly for you. But that hasn't been happening for me other than the short. There goes the TQQs to the downside again. And we just got that fill down there. So we're waiting, man. It looks like we're about to get stopped out here of the Tesla trade. Breaking through 251, we're gone. Then we'll just stop buying dips, man, and we'll just wait. So we'll give back the day here, obviously trading Tesla as we've lost now, make on the futures short. Should have just stuck with that as we're now 200 handles in the money on that trade right there. And there goes Tesla again. So one last attempt at that, breaking through 251. We got stopped out right there. So a couple longs we tried in Tesla to market, no long, no more. They're almost 200 in right now on the TQs. Did not expect this dramatic. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say we didn't expect it, obviously, but we did expect a short. But this is a nice push down. Nasdaq now down 3.4. I obviously thought that we had a rebound possibility there, but it doesn't look like we do. right now. Now goes Tesla back up, but I don't want to get frustrated. Let's bid some more out there on the TQs and watch out to see where Tesla's going. I mean, still at the same levels. Maybe it bounces off 250, or maybe we just go to Palantir. I don't know. What are you in? You're in short, so that's great. Here comes Palantir down to 77. This is the level that I kind of liked.
Apple at VWAP right now and attempting to catch a little bit of a bid because Apple is trying to defy a little bit of logic in here. Look, Alibaba's breaking a low of the day. Am I taking a low break? It's on volume. I'm not going to take the low break on Baba, but I'm trying to add to Apple if we get the opportunity here. Yeah, I'm going to try to add to Apple on any kind of a pop. It's Baba that we wanted the shorts on, and it's now breaking out that low of the day. Bottoming tail candle on massive, massive volume. That can't be real. I'm kind of thinking to myself, that's a dark pool wick. So you don't short on a candle like that. We'll let it do a relief rally. That's a ridiculous candle that I'm almost not believing. Oh, Nike just blew through the top, so we'll have to fail on Nike.
The top?
Yes.
Okay.
That was just, there we
Not
go.
expecting that.
Yeah, Nike was trending right back in. It just blew through the top. So we just got back in at the 53.5 and pretty much instantly out. So Nike looking like it's catching a bit of a bid. We'll stay away from that if it wants to catch one. But Apple bouncing, we're going to try and short that.
Why do I do this to myself?
Baba, we're going to short. But I don't like that bottoming tail candle. Like, you don't short on a candle like this. You got to wait for it to come back up. I think you're going to get a little relief rally. That's a wild, wild reversal candle. Let's go to Aldeyra.
But I hear on Aldeyra Therapeutics, ALDX. This name, I'm going to move this. You can see here. Gapped down pretty hard yesterday. FDA rejecting one of its treatments for eye disease, dry eye disease for the second time. But today, bouncing a little bit here. Up on the day, 9% short float for ALDX. And again, no economic data here at 9:45 or 10. But Fed Chair Powell taking the podium there at 11:25. Back to you.
I'm honestly, the next time I trade something that's not on my stupid sticky note is going to be a problem. Right now, Palantir, man, we write down 77s, bang, goes down to 77, we take it, now 80 cents in the money. We write down Nvidia 96, we even take Nvidia early, and that bangs to the high side as well. Meanwhile, we're sitting there like, you know, chomping at the bit for Tesla. Like, just stick with what you're doing, man. There's Palantir 77 long. There's Nvidia 96 long. There's the futures short. I mean, we're going to hit those. We're going to lose on Tesla, but we're going to win on these for now, which is why we start to scalp it out. So a little bit of frustration there as we do not follow our plans. And yeah, plans very, very successful so far. As here we go, man. We'll see if we can get Palantir going again. And just a tale of different stocks. Bang, let's go, man. This is the money train right now, trying to follow your own rules. And this is what we talk about. Stay in your lane, trade what you trade. And we trade Tesla. It's just it wasn't on the radar for us there again. So look, if Nvidia breaks 97, then we're gone. Or sorry, 96, then we're gone. But we'll wait to see if it does have that sort of catch-up, oh boy moment here back to the upside. Well, hopefully it will blast a little bit, and then we'll be able to do that. So right now, we're waiting for it, man. We've cashed out of the TQs. Now we go, there goes Palantir, Neil. Now that's $1 in the money, so we'll go as that's starting to go back up to the upside now as well. Let's start to cash this out. There goes Nvidia. That's also $1 in the money. So as we keep on going high side there again for the cow trade. What's up, Ozane all? Here we go, baby. We're back in the business now, finally.
Wow, we just got VWAP for the buck on Apple. Apple's right back to the high of the day. Apple's too strong, everybody.
Too strong.
It's just too strong. It just faded back into VWAP, and as quickly as it could bounce, like, this is absolutely ridiculous. So look, they're buying it up. Maybe it's a safe haven thing. Someone asked, what's the deal with Apple? And I simply said, just follow the price action. The reason why it's getting bought doesn't have to make any sense. Just respect the fact that it is. Right? So IBIT just reverted trend. It didn't get to the low of the day. Followed the downward trend, took the break out of the local high. It's signaling along at this point. So we're just going to take our shot at it here in IBIT. That's one name we did want to the long side. Lots of room if we get a rally day on Bitcoin. One of the few things that didn't break out that low of the day. Alibaba still kind of hanging out off those lows.
Oh.
Yeah, so Baba's not looking that strong. Still like to get it into that high. I don't want to play VWAP just yet on Alibaba. We'll take some IBIT out as it crosses VWAP.
Nice.
But I want this Baba short. And it's just a matter of, am I taking it off VWAP, am I taking it off the highs? So we'll let this bar close, get an idea if we're still making lower highs. Otherwise, we wait for the absolute top here on Baba. And I promised myself, I said if Baba didn't set up, I'd look at NEO. Well, NEO's chart's pretty much the same thing. So we go back to Alibaba.
All right, good calls there. I mean, we looked at China earlier, and now looking at it here. All right, man. The number one trade was Palantir long there. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Make sure you do hit the like and the subscribe. There's Palantir long at 77. We got it. We're going to take some more out, though, here because we have been okay at Nvidia as well, trying to get going a little bit here. Hopefully that can happen for us. But it was Tesla that was too stressful for me early as we traded that to the long side. Did not work. So we'll make it back here, hopefully, on Palantir. I mean, I'm going to try to hold now in case that was some kind of a bottom there. I'm thinking that this could be a much bigger move in for the rest of the day here. So I'm actually just going to take the time now. We have 2% left of this trade. I'm going to get out another piece here at 46. So we'll take it out on the TQs as we have rallied back. We got all the prices we needed, man. I mean, the minute that this fell back in to the lows that we had already taken, 45.20s, 45. I mean, we can't believe we even got 45s right there as well. We exit that, and now we start. Let's just get.
Thanks BGZE for the $10 super chat. Apple. Thanks Neil. Was looking at it. You said you liked it. I was in.
There goes Palantir, man. Palantir now almost. We're trying to get to $2, but it's Nvidia is the one that I think can really start to work out for us because it's starting to pop here. And we'll take some more out at 50s. Let's just let this one work. We also, and by the way, we can talk about Palantir off the sticky note, Neil, or we can also talk about Nvidia off the sticky note, where we had Palantir 77 long, Nvidia 96 longs. So those are the two positions that we have in right now, and they're totaling about 250. So let's wait to see if the market wants to respect these levels and continue to go higher, or are we just getting faded right now and actually wants to go the other way. So we're gonna play the sort of the bull case now and say maybe, just maybe, this market is a little overextended to the downside. So that's what I'm gonna be playing, and let's just see if that does wind up working out for us. Not really that great yet though. Good outs. It's only 950.
Yeah, we're still in the open range,
That's
everybody.
the thing.
So I'm taking, like, at this time of day, not really established trends, but I just took a reversion in Intel. Remember that $21 level at the bottom yesterday when the news came out? Like that support level. It just closed above the trend line, like very, very briefly there, breaking out that prior bar. Took the shot long. We'll give it to that low of the day. IBIT as well. Good thing we got some out at VWAP because what do you think happened at VWAP? Curls that volume-weighted average price and coming right back in. So I'll reload this off the low, see if we can't get that going, but it's that baba.
Ooh.
It's still trending high, so this is the one that we want to do short side. AMD as well, but I mean, AMD is a different story. I'll get there in a second. Baba's still trending into 120, so we didn't take it at VWAP because it never set up there. Now we wait for it to get to that high. It looks like it's trying very, very hard to do that. In chip space, like I don't know what to tell you about AMD. Like the market is bouncing. AMD's not going anywhere. Usually, if we're heading up, you want to let it come to you, like Alibaba's doing. But AMD, for whatever reason, is just, it's not participating. Like I'm watching Nvidia go.
Nvidia's a beauty.
I'm watching Apple. Like Apple is ridiculous at this point. Probably a good idea not to be short this. It bounced off VWAP and is now flying like a bat out of you know what. So Apple wants $200. Right quick, as far as I can sell. So it looks like it's going to be the big one. Can't wrap my head around AMD, so I'm just going to wait for it to make its next move, and we'll try to get some of this Alibaba. It's starting to curl a little bit here. I want $1 higher on Baba, and then we can try going short. And LA87P, I know AMD is not NVIDIA, but I would, that's obvious.
Yeah.
I think we all understand that. But I would still expect it to catch a little bit more of a bid and a relief rally. When you're down this much, I generally expect it bounces to get to drag things a little bit more rapidly, right? So you want to play patient. You can't even get to VWAP on this thing when the market is at least pressing towards some of the highs.
Yeah, good look there on Nvidia. And thanks for talking about it, guys, there on the chat, and AMD and all the chip names, because Nvidia is the banger right here for me today. Although the futures will be my number one trade, it's Nvidia right there that we were able to just pick those lows and Palantir, but it's Nvidia that just worked up to 98 and VWAP, so that's why I didn't want to interrupt. But we had gotten some shares out there, a good amount of shares actually at 98 and at 98 and change. Right there to the upside. So it's just absorbing some of these longs right now, and just hopefully they'll be able to work for us the rest of the day. But let's have a quick look at some of the bank names as we're just looking at major tech. Oh, I mean, you were on Nike and you're in cryptos, actually. I take that back. We're in a few different things here. But JP Morgan still down 5. It doesn't even look like it wants 5.5. It doesn't look like it wants to go higher. I mean, out of all of them, you know, the bank's not really having that move back upside. So that's going to be definitely something to look for here. Whoopsies, as we continue to go, I just lowered the level 2. Looks like Tesla's trying to bounce a little bit. I got to keep my hands on the board here because we're getting close. Like Palantir, I just took some more out at 40s on the upside there. And now it's breaking through 78 again. So, you know, we still have some risk on here for all of these names. I'm going to take some more out of Nvidia as well. On Nvidia, we still have 40%, so that's going to be good. On Palantir, we still have only 20%. So getting more out on Palantir, that's $1.50. Nvidia's now going, here we go, man. Break yourself, break higher, man. We've got the big ones going on right now, so let's get those bulls right back in there. These are the levels that we wrote down. Let me guess. Apple 190 long, that didn't hit because Neil was mentioning how strong Apple's been. But I think the winner chicken dinner of the day here is going to be Nvidia, as that's now up $1.50 for me. Well, so is Palantir. So both of these trades, Nvidia is $2 now in the money and going higher. I was confusing the price with Palantir, but there it goes, nicely cooking now for NVDA. Just got to 98.50. Let's put some orders right here, right now. Get some out at the quarters, and now we'll see what winds up happening. But it's Nvidia so far, so good. Big battle back there for NVDA.
Yeah, battle back for Nvidia. Market getting back to the highs. $200 on Apple. I just got the short off the lower high here on BABA. Going to the, usually I go to that top. No, I'm just going to the prior bar high in this case. So 118.5. Bitcoin just filled in front of the iceberg order. It's at 47.20, everybody, on IBIT. I saw a few people like, hey, IBIT. 47.20 had a brick wall in the pre-market. And there's just underneath that, there's resistance here, like 40.17. So profit in front, try to buy the dip if we can off of the support level on IBIT. Just want to respect what's happening. Somebody's selling it at 47.15 to 47.20. It's been happening since like 9:20 or 9 o'clock in the morning. If they break that out, though, my gut's telling me, you know, punch that long on a break of 47.20. So take profit out, go long if we break through whatever that iceberg order is on IBIT. Alibaba, we're finally in. Still no AMD. Maybe we get VWAP on Alibaba, but I'd like to start making some lower highs that we could add to this position. Ideally, that would be the case on BABA. Yeah, like the rejection at the top. If you're seeing so many names that are doing this, this might just be the only place that you can grab AMD. Like you're breaking 52-week lows. You're resuming trend that's been here for like a year. You're down 7%. I mean, I'm just going to have to take a shot at this on this lower high. Sometimes you just got to short the level it's at because it's showing you resistance there and not wait for a line on a chart. I've done this before and then watched AMD be down, like breaking lows and all that stuff, and we never actually get into it. I'm going to try a shot at here before this 88, or I just take an 87 breakdown, as it's a flat bottom break as well. So one of those two things has to happen.
You know what's been really strong here is Google. I mean, this is another name here that although the market is now coming back in, and like I said, we started talking about
China risk, right?
Yeah, what percentages? Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, they're not even in China. What percentages we had there as a risk for? I was talking about YouTube there, yeah. This could be the one. I mean, I think right now, because it's only 9:56, not even super late yet by any stretch of imagination, the market just sort of figuring out its first opening range. You know, if we fall back in, I think this is kind of showing us that there's some strength here in Google, only down 0.46. We talked about Meta being down to $500 again there today. So what is this down? Okay, so still down 3.5. So it is a big time relative strength right now in Google. So yeah, I think this is the one that we want to wait for. VWAP there at 149. You're starting to break out. I mean, I would actually go long now on this name, maybe trying to hold that 149.80. That's a possibility here for Google. It's just, where do we think the market is? That's the question. If you think the market can hold these levels, then I'm pretty sure Google will go. If you're bullish right here, NASDAQ down 3, you know, Google's probably a good go. I mean, we can give it to 1. There it goes. Shoot. Okay. I was just about to buy. I was just about to tell you guys like that I was going to go against that level right there, 149.80. Ah, okay. Well, look, at least we just saw Google pop right in front of our face. So at least there's something there. You know, now we're looking. The whole NASDAQ just popped, which is great for us as Nvidia. Both of those stocks remain dollars. But at the end of the day, Google right there, real strong, man. Maybe we'll play a dip back into 150. Let's put a bid. Hey, maybe it comes back in. Just like it just ripped up, maybe Google comes back and gives us something near that 150. Let's give that one a shot. But wow. Right in front of our face right there. Good
yeah,
one. Yeah.
It makes so much sense, but hindsight's 2020.
Yeah.
Less China risk, great PE, which is going to matter. Like, people are going to want companies that are generating cash if we're going into a recession. Although you would think advertising would be a problem, but cross that bridge when you get there. Two things. Did we break? We broke. So Alibaba, respecting this bottoming tail candle at 116, to me makes way too much sense. You saw it. It's ridiculous. But IBIT, or Bitcoin, just broke that
iCoin.
I can't call it an iceberg order because I didn't actually see like a refresher or anything on the level, but let's just say it was an iceberg or a big seller at 47.20. So it just broke it out. The high in the pre-market, or at least the high right before the open, was at 47.3. So I want to get some out in front of that. If we break that, we just zoom it out even further. You don't have a heck of a lot in terms of resistance between that 47.3 and the overnight gap. There's just nothing there. So every 5-10 cents on this presumed resistance. Bitcoin has not been moving that much percentage-wise. So like, I'm not looking for this to get to $50 on IBIT or us to see 88,000. If we get to 84, that's good.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to figure this out right now because the market is just. Do we want to be long or short? That's always the question.
Apparently long Apple. Right now, Apple 200 is in the back of my mind.
We're look, man. I know we're talking about all these. Like, I'm $3 in the money on these two positions with Nvidia near the top and Palantir, but it doesn't matter. Like, we're looking for more. So if there is any sort of names that you guys want to talk about here, man, yeah, you're right. I know you just got bleeped out there, but let's go. Like, let's get going here right now. There goes Palantir. So we're gonna miss that. I mean, whatever. Miss it. We always have ideas. We'll miss that Google, but we're gonna get some more out here on Palantir because that's a huge move right back up to VWAP again. So let's take some more out here at 60s. So we'll just do that, and there it goes. Huge move on Palantir. Great move. Not a huge move. Happy with the move on Nvidia. Would rather see it back up at day's high. So we'll wait to see if that can happen and go now to Aldeyra.
Pretty eventful morning so far. We started the day with a pretty intense red 15-minute candle. Green 15-minute candle for the second candle, though. It was unable to eclipse all of the sell-off that we had at the open here. S&P 500 down about 2.5%. NASDAQ down almost the exact same amount, actually, here. NASDAQ looking a little bit stronger, perhaps, than the S&P 500 at this point. China here announcing retaliatory tariffs of 34% against the U.S. following the U.S. tariff announcement that we had on Wednesday night. No economic data to really watch for the rest of the day, but Fed Chair Powell speaking at 11:25 a.m. And his remarks will be of interest given the fact that we had stronger than expected non-farm payrolls coming through this morning for March, 228,000 versus 140,000 expected. Here's Apple. This name was the Meg 7 name, that probably got hit the hardest yesterday. They are likely to be impacted by these tariffs due to the fact they actually tried to expand their supply chain outside of China. AAPL, though, nice little bounce off the open. Needham did express some uncertainty about the tariffs in an analyst note, but they maintain their buy rating and $260 price target. Banks here like JPM near lows of day. Bank earnings just 1 week away here, starting on April 11th, and these banks got hit pretty hard due to some concerns, of course, about consumer spending and a potential recession. Back to you.
A list of things that I meant to do at the open was see the opening range on XLF and make a decision in the long term. I'm going to get to, someone asked a question about Micron, and short answer, it absolutely never fulfilled what I was looking for holding that bottom for a swing trade. It gapped through that when we had the tariffs. But I'll show you the chart, guys, later. IBIT, so there's like 10,000 shares, no, check that, 100,000 share sellers that are popping up every 5 cents or so between like 35, 40. So I just took another leg out. I was getting out on the way up at the even pennies, like in front of 30, in front of 40, in front of 50, and now like these bigger chunk sellers are starting to come in. If we get underneath that prior iceberg, I'm out and waiting for VWAP. Like the buy was down here under VWAP anyways. So if we lose the place that we broke out from, jump out of the trade, look for a re-entry here on IBIT. Oh, Apple just tanked.
I was going to say, how did Google just come in for me?
All right, well, Apple's been holding VWAP. I didn't short it this time on the curl because I think Apple's ridiculously strong today. So if we get to VWAP, the trend is your friend to the end when it bends. So Obi always loves to say. Actually, was it Obi or was that? Oh, yeah, it's Obi. I was going to say it was maybe Max or something else, but no, it was Obi. So right now, you're holding VWAP on that first bounce. We shorted it to VWAP last time. This time I did not go short. I'm just looking for the bounce on Apple. Doesn't make necessarily sense to me how China could retaliate and Apple would be strong. But until it breaks down under VWAP or breaks its trend to the upside, price action wins. Doesn't make any sense to me, fundamentally, but who cares?
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, so Google just came in. We took some out there at 40, 45, something like that. But it did come into our area. We were waiting for 149.50 to break. Unfortunately, it happened too quickly. Like, I didn't even have another bid lower. So we'll see if we can get a little bit more on this Google because, you know, we like the levels here. It's just a matter of will the NASDAQ decide to hold? I mean, we could also play the futures at this level here as well. But I'm going to go with the Google because it has been relatively strong down here. Well, apparently anyways. So we'll play it. My next offer is at 150.80. Hopefully you can get back up to there. Yesterday, Robinhood was no good. Let's see what it is today. Probably worse. Another 10% down for Robinhood. Like, wow. Okay, why isn't my daily chart? Okay, there it is. Now it's, okay, so you are getting like, I mean, there's going to be lots of stocks like this, but that's back-to-back 10% days. This has been, so again, its high was $46 back on April 2nd, which was 2 days ago. Now you're down to $34 there on Robinhood. So a name that I thought we liked, I guess we do not, as that's, well, I still like it, but the market maybe doesn't. As that's starting to make that move down there is Robinhood. So a good job getting out of some of these shorts, some of these longs as we start to go back up to the upside. It looks like crypto and IBIT might be the only thing working right now for the long. I mean, look, we're $3 in the money. Like we've got Nvidia and Palantir, but they're just dancing. Like we'd like to see some continuation here in some of these names. What's Walmart doing? Yeah, see, so this is the kind of move that I'm trying to find out here in tech land, and it just doesn't look like it wants to happen. It wants to happen everywhere else. Like, what is going on with Caterpillar?
Quick update.
Oh, update, yeah.
17 held on Alibaba. Kind of got lost in the sauce on that one. So we bounced off the even dollar on Baba. We got out of the short. It's also trending up. Like bottoming tail candle on huge volume, and now it's putting in a higher low. Just going to respect its flow at this point. Because that's all you can do. And the sellers have been chasing this down on IBIT, and when I say the sellers, I just mean whoever's popping in and selling 100 shares on the book. 100,000 lots on the book. I don't know if they'll show up so I can show you in real time, but this is the regular liquidity on IBIT. So if you see 100,000 shares instead of the regular 4,000 or 5,000, it tends to stick out. And they have managed to get it right back down into that 47.2. If we lose 47.2, I was out of 80% of it. It just broke under. I had covered 80%. I'm out and going to wait for VWAP or the low of the day. This feels like the kind of morning to be able to get out, get in, and reassess. Yeah. So I still like long on IBIT. I'm just going to look for a different long. I still like short on Alibaba. I just have to look for either the same reentry off 118.5 or maybe the 119, 120 top. And then on top of that, Apple is trying to get to VWAP. We have not traded Apple today. Just one note on Apple. Remember, it is SSR because it was down 10% yesterday. Unique situation, which a lot of times lends itself to extreme rallies. It's also bouncing off of, I mean, you're talking about a June breakaway level, that 191. So there's big technical things happening on Apple, which could be the reason why it's showing some strength. But as you can see, it's kind of screaming down into VWAP. It was a violent turn. Like it didn't give you a consolidation. It just bounced and went. So we've got to watch this one closely if it does the same thing again.
Yeah, everything is getting to be at some of these lows again, like a Palantir. Whoopsies, like a Palantir came all the way back. So this is why we're talking about like, you know, trying to absorb some of these plays when they go up and they hit our levels, like a VWAP or like a 50-period moving average, like the day's, you know, session high. We talked about it just becoming 10 o'clock just right now. So I think patience will be very, very, okay, so Palantir just cracked lower. So we get our 77.25 fill right there. So now we're long at 33. So if we do get a bounce back up into the 60s or so, we can get a piece out. But yeah, breaking too much below 77. Now we don't have all of our stops at the exact dollars, but they're like 20 or 30 cents away. So here we go, man, hands off. We just, we've taken our last, and again, the reload will put us into a position of like maybe 1.5 units right now on Palantir. Do not want to layer into anything too strongly. The only thing that I'm looking to do maybe would be Google, and we're already in this one, and we'll just have to wait to see where it goes from here. But this Google, we're waiting for 149 to break. So it's my levels are getting all messed up here because I'm watching Nvidia, Palantir, and Google. So we have 3 big positions long right now, which long into this market has not been a great idea, but we've taken the money out already. So right now we'll give a little bit back, trying to find out some of these bottoms. That's the thing, like bottom picking, very, very dangerous in this market. Would be much better to have it to form a bottom and then go, right? And that's what we thought we were doing with Google when it looked like it was basing out at 150, but now we just come right back into some of these lines. So we got to give it a shot to work itself out right now. So CoreWeave, good job there, Rivian Millionaire. That's going to be a name that I was thinking about buying on any dips, meaning that we know that this is being underwritten by some bosses. So if you know, they may want this to hold, but remember where it IPO'd at, 39 bucks. So if you're going to think about some levels, we saw ARM bounce off some of those IPO levels before as well. This one maybe down to 40, 44, 45 for CoreWeave. All right, Palantir just broke. So Palantir breaks. We're getting out at 76.85 break.
Nike's going.
Yeah, so I think everything's going, man, right now to the downside. There comes Nvidia, our last fill at 96. So, hey, man, this is like that one white flag moment where the market has just flushed back into the lows again. Will we hold? This is the chance right now to find out. So it's Google, it's Nvidia, it's Palantir. They all came right back in. The only thing we got stopped out so far was Palantir, but Nvidia's right here now at 96. The shorts definitely working out right now if you had held on to them. My biggest stock still remains the TQs. And we had an opportunity to short basically the same levels again and didn't. So yeah, that's what we're doing right now. Just trying to absorb some of this pain back in, but it was okay.
Apple's holding.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I know. If Apple's strong, we should probably be trading.
Apple's holding VWAP, but only for now. But Nike did a reversion, so every time one of these stocks does this, I think this is going to be the setup I'm going to prefer because we have a market which is just trending and going back and forth and bouncing. So the only clean thing has been actually letting it break the trend, like getting in. Oh, there's the prior high. Let's get in off the prior high.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's screaming to the upside, so it just blows out the prior high. So wait for it to do the trend break, and then wait for VWAP. So I'm getting out of 75% into VWAP. It would have been prior bar high, but we've already tagged this level here, so I guess my stop moves to break even on Nike, which I just realized I canceled but didn't replace my stop to come talk to you guys. So I move my trailing stops manually. Like I don't have it set at A. Every 10 cents it trails down with it. I move it manually using prior bars on a 3-minute. So I'm going to move it every time it makes another leg down. I will hold on to a piece for underneath VWAP. And let me just double check on IBIT because that's also back at the volume weighted average price. But look at this thing. It's just heavy. We're just real heavy down in here. Like you got to see some kind of a turn and bounce. Like with IBIT, it was a similar thing. Like didn't try to catch the bottom, just try to let it make the bottom, break the little downtrend, and take the breakout. Well, that's what I want to do on pretty much all of these trades. Manuel saying that Amazon's relatively strong. Doesn't have to make sense. It's just seemingly true. That's way stronger than Apple. Looking at Apple's down here at VWAP already.
Yeah, I know. This is like the Nasdaq's getting hit because like we have Palantir.
My brain's saying, then why wouldn't I just revert Amazon?
Yeah.
Everything wants to fall like this. And you can get something at the top, which should just follow the broad market.
Market's at that bottom again.
I don't know. You know what? I'm like staring down a reversion on 3 different things. You just got to pick your poison, man. Like, I don't want to get rid of my BABA level 2. I don't want to get rid of IBIT level 2. I don't want to get rid of Apple. And we're in Nike. So, yeah, as tempting as that looks,
That's the 220.
that looks like a really good mean reversion possibility on Amazon, but You can't do everything.
No,
it was a great point out for everybody. It's a really good point out.
yeah, no, oh man. Okay, so we still have a little bit of Google here at 149. We'll punch a little bit more if it does go back up, but we do have to slap a fail on that last idea there because we tried to buy it down to VWAP. We thought Google was strong. I mean, it is relatively strong when you're looking at the market, but definitely on a day like this, man, wow. The market continues to bleed downside. Someone just said GME puts. What is GME doing? Still up.
Tanking.
No, up. GME's up 3%, so
Why?
not tanking at all. I don't know.
Okay, the market's down 4%. We're in a trade war. Let's buy GME. You know what, though? Sometimes when the market's getting bled, it's squeeze names that want to go, but let's see if there's a fundamental reason why GME is holding up, or whatever news is out there.
Yeah.
There actually is. So yesterday during the market recap, some people pointed this move to the upside out in our chat. I didn't see anything at the time, but it does turn out later that we found out Ryan Cohen did actually reveal via an SEC filing that he's added to his position to GME. He has just over 8% now of their total shares. So Ryan Cohen, CEO of GME, adding to his GameStop position. It's worth noting, though, we still have not taken out yesterday's aftermarket highs. That is the GME story for a little bit of context here. Back to you.
Okay, Aldeyra. All right, 275.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know if I don't trust I'm not going to trust the move in GameStop, and I don't know that that's the thing that I would want to trade, but you've got to respect the price action. Like, I think it's one of the things that you circle back to, and if we're breaking this double top out, maybe you just try to enjoy the ride and leave it at that. You know, so again, I'm not going to necessarily sit there believing it. You want to stay in the pocket if you can. All right, we're trying to bounce off of VWAP here, and I only had, okay, there we go. We'll get one more fill, and then we'll be out of 75% of Nike, and then try to hold to the bottom. Apple is trying to hold VWAP as we speak. Someone was asking, that's a pretty nice looking candle if it closes green on Apple. Little bottoming tail underneath VWAP. So Apple could be turning a little bit here. 18,000 the NASDAQ is trying to hold while Apple's trying to hold VWAP. So that's obviously a pretty big spot. 47 on IBIT is also trying to hold VWAP as we're trying to get a little bit of a curl here on both those names. My first thought is if we're bouncing here, why wait lower? Just get that out, get that leg out on Nike right now. Just jump on the bid. Like, who cares if it makes that other push down? If the market turns here and I wanted to get one more out on Nike, I should just take it. We can hold the rest through VWAP and get an order at even dollars here. Nicole Harris, thank you for the super chat. Yeah. Intel and Neo puts are working. Do you see Intel 20? I don't know if it's not going to. The bottom has been 19 on Intel, I believe.
Yes, 1980, 1950, 1930.
It's been 19 something on Intel. I don't think, like, 20 is obviously a good psychological number. Yeah, 19. Like, the buyers have been at 19 on Intel. So if you're filling in this gap, so if you're short it, the trend is your friend. It looks like a great short. The only thing I'd concern myself with is it's already down 8%. Like, you get SSR, go down 10%, and catch one of those little SSR bounces. Maybe you watch 10% at some point. But the Intel, what bottom?
Yeah.
Not for another 8% on this chart. Yuck, Aldeyra.
This part of the show is brought to you by our friends at WorkSport, introducing you to discovery on the NASDAQ. WorkSport, ticker WKSP. WorkSport's a U.S.-based manufacturer, and they are rapidly expanding with growing revenues, government contracts, and innovative green energy products designed to power your life off-grid. So whether you are on the move or seeking sustainable energy solutions, WorkSport, they've got you covered. Now trading on the NASDAQ under ticker WKSP, so discover the future of clean energy with WorkSport. Back to you.
All right, come on, man. Let's just think about, 18,000 maybe holding. We just tried to get back to the upside again on the futures. This is what I'm saying. Like, sometimes I got a little sidetracked there. We should have stuck with the futures instead of trying to pick. No, look, I mean, being up on Palantir and Nvidia, all that is great, but realistically, the most that we're up on is going to be, not realistically, actually, what we're, I guess that's the same thing. We are we have done real well on the futures, but the fact that they went all the way to the bottom, and we never really needed to get stopped out. We actually never got stopped out. I punched out there just because I thought the market was rallying. I should have trusted the levels, and we talk about that sometimes too. It's like trust in the levels that you see. And just don't get mixed up sometimes in all of the noise. And we definitely had done that there by looking over, trying to find that Google. Cambodia, okay, I'm not too worried. What's up? Mopar for life there. 35 to 5%. I'll figure out some stories about Cambodia right there. What is Cambodia known for? All right, so there goes nicely done to the upside here on Google. Was it a joke? I missed what you said.
There's a Diddy joke in there. From the
I don't want to. Okay,
no, it was the Chappelle gag when he made fun of Diddy. And it was the Cambodian breast milk kid.
Oh, was it? Okay.
I don't know if that's what you were talking about.
No, the guy said in the chat there's something about Cambodian tariffs. So I had no idea. So it is a thing according to it. It is a thing.
Just very quickly, someone had asked about the halt levels. The chat's moving too fast. The NASDAQ and the ES are only halfway there to any potential circuit break.
Yeah, it's 7%.
Yeah, it's 7%. So we're not, like we're 3.5%. We're not anywhere close to those. Trust me, if we get within a fitting distance, we'll be all over if we get anywhere close to those bands. I'm still staring down Apple, trying to hold you up. It's not looking that great, but it's looking like it's starting to set up. Let's go to the small cap recap with Aldeyra.
Before we get to the small cap recap, I do want to talk about those Cambodian tariffs. I didn't mention it earlier because it wasn't particularly market moving, but it is worth noting. Bloomberg reporting that apparently Cambodia is going to be lowering some tariffs on some U.S. imports to $5 from 5% from 35%. They're going to cut these quite significantly. Again, Bloomberg reporting that Cambodia reportedly looking to lower tariffs on some U.S. imports from 35% to 5%. So that's the Cambodia-related thing you may have seen. I just wanted to provide some clarity on that. But let's talk here about the IWM and the small caps. Here's the IWM. Still making a bit of a rounded top. As of yesterday, we were in bear territory, and we gapped down even lower today. Low here of $179 for that Russell 2000. ALDX, one of today's small cap gappers on watch yesterday, massive push to the downside. The FDA rejected their dry eye treatment for the second time. Then we also have, but they're bouncing back today. Then there's RSLS. RSLS pretty notable here. No catalyst for Reshape Life Sciences, but it is worth noting they have about a 620,000 share float. 56% of that is sold short. Last but not least, AREB, American Rebel. This one rallies pretty repeatedly. Catalyst from yesterday as well. Apparently, they're highlighting a new video release as of yesterday morning. So AREB possibly on watch for day 2. Back to you.
We got a good one. There's been a little bit of money now for the long. At least the long is working on a name that we had thought about. We're going to have to let this go even higher, though, because if this is going to work for us, let's let it work. And we actually did that, so we just got a good fill right there at 09s. Again, like I was really thinking, I mean, is it 09? Yeah, 09s. I was really hoping for the 50 period there, but we are at VWAP right now, so, you know, being able, okay, maybe, okay, I'm going to take an 09 again if we can, okay, well now, we didn't even get it. Okay, there we go, we got it again. Let's see if we can go back up to the upside. That is 30s. So I'm going to put an offer right now for a decent amount here, 20%. At 30. Bang, we're back, baby. This market is now back for us as we picked up Google near that bottom. Look, it is going to be hopefully an update for us on Google. We did get stopped out of that early. Rates there, it's kind of hard to see when it's right in the middle of the candle. We put like our sells as red and our buys as green, but sometimes I realize it's a little hard to see. But I guess not really. There it goes, nicely done to the upside. Now $1, 84 cents in the money now on Google. So this is really bringing my day back. So we're pretty happy with that. We were getting smoked on this trade earlier. So, you know, happy, joy in this market when it's in your favor, but then when it smacks you in the face, it ain't fun. So let's just understand what that feeling feels like. And again, remember, you cannot, and I think Joe said this, I think we all say this, you cannot, I mean, Obi said it yesterday, until you fail, you know, you're not going to be able to figure out what winning's all about. And
way to success.
Exactly. And so I just want to say, like, that's how you hold more shares. That's how you hold things against you a little bit, because you have to become comfortable sometimes in uncomfortable situations, right? And I mean, we were pretty uncomfortable holding that. We did have our stops, and we got stopped out. This is not saying be uncomfortable to the point where you're not being reasonable or you're trading outside of your sort of risk parameters. It's just about, if there's an opportunity there that you believe in, there is reasons to take it. You know, sometimes you'll fall on your face on stock, that's for sure, and you'll make a bad call. And we had one of those this morning with Tesla, you know, and we're able to get out. But we lost enough money on this where it was damage, you know? But we're able to get out and move on to something else. Look at Tesla, it's continuing to bleed. Meanwhile, we've made back our day here, not completely our day, but made back a little bit here on Google. So that's been helping, trying to stick with what we thought. So there it is, man. We talked about the 50 period. Look at all the outs right now. So we still have about half of this position on. So we're going to really let to see if the market wants to bounce off 18,000. I don't know, Neil, when they asked about where the limits were, that makes me a little nervous.
Well, no, we're not close to the limits, but
I don't think that's
the sentiment that's in the market. So a couple of bounces off VWAP. One that was okay, I'll show IBIT, which is bouncing off VWAP, only because it's imminently at the level of support. And then an Apple was tried. You know, we were staring down Apple for the break of trend and off of VWAP. And there was a question in the chat. How do I place stops relative to like a key price level? Well, there's two things. I'm taking a trend break like this, like it trends down in VWAP, it breaks the trend. I'm taking the break above the trend line, and I'm giving it to either that bar or the prior bar low. So it's an execution strategy based on the trend reverse. If you're trading off a level, sometimes you just got to pick a level and throw your stop underneath it. Like if you like 47, like in this case, I might put it a little bit underneath the 47 level. Here. I always have an execution plan. I always say this: if you don't know where you're wrong, then you don't necessarily have a trade. You've got to determine, okay, well, what does it mean to be wrong in this trade? It could be a trend line break. It could be fundamental. I don't know. It could be fundamental if you're swinging or something. I don't really do that, but you know, it just has to be something, and you predetermine so that I'm sitting there knowing, hey, I'm going to take my shot on this break of the bottoming tail candle. But my stop is going to go in there, and my hands are off the keyboard, and I know where I want to get. And that goes in actually before I even take the long position. Like as I'm staring this down, it's made that prior bar. Like I've seen the bottoming tail candles. I'm staring down. I can see it holding VWAP on this candle. My stop goes in first, and then I start taking the long position. So there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But right now the market is breaking lower, so you just saw the fail in Apple. That was flat on because we got some profit out. Nike, which is a New York stock, that's holding on the volume-weighted average price here. But like most of the trades for me right now, it's a matter of trend one way, break the trend, take it the other way. And that's what I'm seeing in this market, so that's what I want to be looking at. Like what's giving me a trend break? And what actually, I said it before, Amazon gets closer, and that's just a topping tail candle into a prior bar high. Yeah, this is... You now, ideally for this setup, this is not really a great trend line unless it holds the trend, retest the top, then confirm the trend line, then break it. At this point, I don't know that that really sets up as a trend break, but you've just gotten the prior day support for a resistance spot here on Amazon. I haven't taken this one at all to the south side, but I can tell you if it goes green today, it's surprising to me. The closer you get to going green...
Amazon, that is?
No, I mean anything.
Oh, the market, yeah.
No, but anything. I don't care what stock it is. Like, if you're getting a chance to go green, I think that's a fade on almost everything that we would regularly trade on daily trade. But it's just a matter of finding that setup. I don't want anything that isn't like a mean reversion or a bottoming tail candle where I can have a clear and defined entry and exit. Because everything else just kind of hasn't worked out. So I want to stick to that kind of a plan. Amazon's there for us. Going to hang on to Nike through VWAP if we can. Ben Weiss, thank you for the super chat there. Ben, appreciate you. Check out the daily gap on Nvidia, March 23rd, 2023. I didn't even notice that Randy came by. I knew that fresh off Cool. What are your thoughts on gaps that have been being filled eventually? Okay, so I have to go to a higher time frame chart on Nvidia, obviously, if you're talking about a 2023 gap. Let's go to E-Signal. And maybe
2023 gap.
Well, that's sort of the thing. Like, I got to look at a weekly on Nvidia here. I'm only in the one trade, and Amazon we're going to be really patient with. It's been ridiculously strong. So you're talking. No, I must have read that wrong. You're talking about the March gap? Oh my goodness.
Or do we have?
No, in my head, I thought you were talking about this gap, but that's I have it wrong. In 2024, you're talking about 2023 in March, so all the way back in here. Like, I don't think it's reasonable to expect that we could get that low on Nvidia. The world's not ending. Here's the way I would look at it. You would actually have to have a global recession, and then some other kind of panic would have to happen there, I think, to get to that type of a level. Let's cross that bridge when we get there. I was about to say it's not insane that if you have a global recession, you could see like a pullback in the 200 on like this gap in here from 2024. That's the one I thought you were talking about. That's crazy and that's extreme, but I can believe that. I can believe it. I would put a lower probability on it, but I can certainly believe it. The $1 to $30, sorry, I'm not that panicked.
Not seeing that.
Well, that's $30.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we have other problems, like keep your family safe if we get to 30 on Nvidia in any kind of a timely fashion. Like I'm not worried about my stocks if that happens. I'm worried about other things. Use your imagination.
Yeah, I mean anything could happen down there, especially these days. Yeah. Hopefully we don't get to that level. All right, but again, time is on everybody's side, right? I mean that's the whole thing, and not everybody's, but I guess most people's side. As we continue to watch out for this market, look, I feel like we did pretty good here, getting in and out of some of these trades, but it doesn't mean that we did. All right, so Google, Palantir, right there. I was just trying to show you guys there was a big level there at 75. 75 is a little low for Palantir right now. Google, again, up to VWAP. We're still going to wait for 148. I don't think we'll be reloading this one as the NASDAQ is just coming right in like fire again, right down there to the downside. We got to make sure that we do have the right stop orders out. So, yeah, look, we made some money back there. It's definitely not as bad as it was for us, getting a lot out at the 50 period. No matter how this market moves, you have to respect it. And that's what we've been doing, is trying to respect some of these moves. As Neil said, if anything gets back to the high of the day, that would be a good spot for us to think about, or green on some of these stocks would be a good spot to think about getting out finally. So, if it comes through, we'll do that. We'll buy some more on the dip here, but then that's it, man. If we break this 48, we are gone on Google, and so far so not so good for the long. We've been okay on it, just could always do a little bit better. So we'll wait to see if we can do better on this Google long and average it in as it comes back up. But there has to be some shorts in this market, right? That some of you guys are looking at. So put it in the chat here. Like, what are we doing? Tesla has actually gotten clocked as this was a name that, hands up in the air. If we're wrong on this one, that was I. I thought Tesla was strong early. Like, there it was going, and I was like, let's play it off the 200. Let's play it off VWAP. And good thing we didn't, because we got played on that one, as Zach just makes a move all the way down. So, again, congratulations to anybody that was able to catch that short against me. So that was a great trade.
Speaking of things that are actually not that bad.
Right.
I've been still holding on to VWAP, and we're above 82,000.
Yeah, crypto's
I'm curious to see what else is going on in crypto land with Aldeyra. Hopefully, Fartcoin's not going down too far. That'd be a real problem.
Yeah.
I just quit if Fartcoin goes down.
I can safely say we're not going to be looking at Fartcoin right now, but here's Bitcoin. Nice little, I guess, rounded top here within a rounded top for BTC. Still finding, as I mentioned earlier, some support here from that Tuesday, March 11th low. But certainly, I would say, honestly, arguably making a double top here, that 88, just under 89,000 level. First on Monday, March 24th. Then again here, we get this top on Wednesday, April 2nd. When we thought the market was maybe going to push higher. Unfortunately, crypto and the rest of the market pushed a little lower here. Though BTC, it is worth noting, we've said time and time again, has held up relatively well compared to what we're seeing with the NASDAQ especially and the market as a whole. Let's take a look at Ethereum here as well on the daily chart. Ethereum to USD, bit of a downtrend, not holding up necessarily as well as BTC, but within the last few days, making pretty similar patterns. Yesterday, actually slightly green for Ethereum. And without that, we're going to be back here to you. Thanking our friends at Trade the Pool. Sorry for the wait there. We all know the saying, big opportunities come with big risk, but what if that wasn't true anymore? Trade the Pool is redefining what risk means for traders. No more risking your life savings to prove yourself in the market. They give you access to company capital up to $200,000 to trade real stocks, no CFDs, and your downside is limited to just a single one-time fee that starts at $47. So that means no more blowing up your personal account. You get to trade with serious buying power, all while knowing your loss is capped. Trade the Pool now offers an unlimited time during the evaluation, so you get the freedom to trade your way with no time pressure. Visit tradethepool.com and see how far your $47 can take you. Back to you.
Aldeyra, just very quickly, 175 broke at the moment, or rebroke on Amazon at the moment that it broke that trend line. So at this point, it's the only type of entry that I'm finding is find something that's trending up if you're looking short and have it break the trend, or if you're looking long, have something break a downtrend, that kind of thing, and pull back into VWAP. 175, I just bid 174 when it bounced the first time, but let's let it fall into VWAP there. And Daniel was asking me, and these are all great questions. Where was it? Hey, there it is. I saw it the first time. He repeats it. Literally, I was talking about it. ARM is at your buy price. Sweet 88. Are you buying here? I can tell you with XLF and with ARM, the second there were China retaliatory tariffs, I canceled my bids. Flat out. It doesn't mean I'm not going to buy ARM. I am going to buy it again, but I'm not going to buy it literally the day after on a fill.
Thanks Moonlight Trading for the 36 Emirati dirhams and 99 feast super chat. Sean and Neil should start a channel about food review too, so we can see you both on weekends as well.
So yeah, I still like it, but what I observe is this. When we get that news, and a little slow on that chart, when we get negative news, and you're blowing through the 200 on the weekly, I can let it settle down. And it might just mean that I get it at a much better price. My intention is to buy it. For anyone that is tuning in, I've been saying this for like a year and a half. I've been waiting for ARM to pull back in to more reasonable prices because the P is ridiculous, and I want to sort of build into a long-term position on it because I bungled it on the IPO and didn't really get in on the IPO, which was a big mistake. So it's one I want to own, but I'm not just going to sit here catching a falling knife. I'm resetting to, I mean, it's crazy to say because it's a silly price, down around 67, or if we just simply bounce a couple of days and show a consolidation after we settle down here next week, then maybe I buy the same level and it looks good, and I might have to pay a couple of dollars up. That's fine. I don't mind that. So Amazon, going to hang on to this to VWAP. Nike, we're still in. It's trying to break. We've already scalped a VWAP on Nike. If it breaks that, I'm looking for 52.5 here on Nike. So again, trend breaks are pretty much all that I'm looking for at this point. Don't want to punch bottoms. And it could be trend breaks to the upside too. Like, I don't want to think that we're only going to go short. Like, I tried a trend break on, one trend break long on IBIT, then a breakout long on IBIT, then a trend break long on IBIT. If we get back down to the same double bottom here and do another trend break long, I'll take that as well. So it's just about knowing what your setup is going to be. Or you know what, Sean? Apparently, the other thing you could do is just maybe pay attention to GME, which is still up 2%. I just saw in the chat, they're like GME.
You're not hella long GME, man? What the hell's your problem?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Nor would I be.
No, I don't. We're just joking about that one. Okay, so unfortunately, Google does run that 148. We're still in it. We didn't get stopped out of everything, but we did get stopped out of a bunch. So we'll be red right now on Google position pending. We're going to give it that one more shot to see if it wants to hold that level or what, because there are going to be some wipeout levels. But as you can clearly see oh, sorry, that's Tesla still, my bad. As you can see right here, we are on Google right now, and okay, well, here it comes I was just gonna say, but we are taking it out as it rips higher for us. We were just getting some out in the 30s there, and then it drops right back through 148 again, it looks like right now, so this will be the last, this will be the last stop out right there for Google as it just runs again. So, good thing we were able to make something back on that move.
I gotta get Jameson's question here.
So go ahead with Jameson.
Jameson just asked, how do tariffs affect Palantir? I'm gonna make the assumption. I haven't looked at Palantir. I'm gonna assume it's down like everything else. Things don't have to be directly affected by tariffs to suffer the fallout. If you have a really large PE or really super high PE in this environment where everything's resetting down and people are expecting recession, that contracts. So those types of things get sold, and they're just getting bad consequences. That's why ARM's going down, but they're a ship name as well. You're going to find anything with a high PE is going to be under pressure in this environment. Also, Tesla is about to go 10% to the downside, because why not? This market is bleeding. I mean, it's not fun. No questions asked. Don't look at your long-term account unless you plan to make any decisions imminently. Let's go to Aldeyra, or we're not going to Aldeyra. My bad.
Yeah, you can come right over here because we want you to scan that QR code as you see on your screen, because eSignal, again, you know, we've talked about this for a while, and it was just the fact that you can look at other markets. And I think that, you know, using, and we see trade ideas and all that kind of stuff, but these guys you can entitle based on the market that you want to trade. So go hit them up. If there is any sort of a concern, they have great technical support as well. We want to say a big shout out to eSignal. First month free. Go check them out. It's the back testing. It's the reliability of the charts. Again, level 2s are available. They're hot lists, trends, watch lists. You can set up your own alerts, API integration. It's all there. This has been exhausting trying to pick up some of these bottoms here today again. We just should have said, and shout out to everybody there on the chat. You know, we started the day short. Like, we started the day short. We were short at 8:30, man, and then short again. And then eventually we got taken to the cleaners on the long. So yeah, right now, man, it's not been a long day, but the TQs continue to be pretty sharp in the tooth here, and just making moves down lower and lower and lower, man. This is $43. We were trading this thing not too long ago at like $80 or $90 right there on the TQs. Look at that. So this is what we talk about, how you don't necessarily want to hold these things for 3 times the anything, because it can go 3 times the other way, and then it becomes very, very dramatic. And of course, it can even move more than that, because you do have the decay with the options, right? And so just be as careful as you can be there with this. And I think it's just a great day trading tool. So if those of you are trying to catch it over the next week or so, swing trading and day trading, then I think the TQs could work for you, as opposed to just trading the straight NASDAQ and using some of that leverage. But at the end of the day, this has been really hit, and a really great thing to trade. And thankfully for myself, I was able to trade that and make a little bit of money early on it. But yeah, I don't know, capitulation, Paul. I mean,
we're going to find
did
out.
People get wiped out? Yeah.
We're at the low right now.
Exactly. So good call on that one. And I was just going to say, like, whether or not we capitulate from here or not, like, we've seen so many days now that are down 3, 4, 5% almost in a row, that I don't know if the market is scared of this anymore. Like, we may have to go down, we may have to halt down, which is 7% to wipe everybody out. And then even then, on the great reset, yeah, I don't I don't know. Yeah, so wow, we just should have stayed in this. We didn't even need to get it stopped out. So we were pretty light. We just should have reloaded the short. We just believed that the market taking VWAP there was a chance to go. Once it didn't, I think the real short there was that last fail of VWAP. Like, I thought it was gonna go, you know, you guys talking capitulation, all that, like, yeah, we did think that there was an opportunity for that to happen. And it looks like, yeah, no opportunity in sight right now, as it's just downside. And yeah, we may get that blowout bottom at some point here again. So to try to go short now seems risky, but it's been right. Any short throughout the whole time today has been right. It's 1040, man.
Before we go to Aldeyra for Sector Watch, as you were talking about eSignal, I just want to show you guys the trade rate list that I have on eSignal, because it is littered with ETFs. You know, like, you're going to see Apple up there, you see AMD, Amazon, IWM, KWeb, SoxL, SoxS, SPY is in there, Qs, SQQ, TQQ, TSLA, like, half of it is ETFs today. I'm actually a little bit surprised. Why is, you know what, there must not be any of the volatility ones that are on the list that it's drawing from. I'd be a little surprised if VIX or UBXY isn't on there, but it's probably because it's only taking NASDAQ. It's weird. It should be there. But you're seeing so many indexes here. The volatility is through the roof. You really got to be able to pick your spots, everybody. The market's at low of the day. Yeah. So VWAP's about to come in on Amazon, that reversion. But I got to worry about why in the world is Nike coming back to entry Well, it doesn't matter. I had my break even stop in there. It bounced off EOP held for the dream. Nike is actually just right back to break even on that last 20%. So Nike showing strength as we go to Aldeyra for sector watch. Why are they buying Nike?
Oh.
The sector board is even worse here than what we saw yesterday. We've got technology, of course, still red. Both technology services and electronic tech finance bright red here. Berkshire Hathaway down about 4%. JP Morgan 7%. Retail trade here still pretty weak. Even the names that held up decently yesterday are falling to the downside. And Amazon very red here to lead the group. Eli Lilly, AbbVie, all red here in health technologies. Consumer services, bright red. Even McDonald's, which was relatively strong yesterday. Producer manufacturing, consumer durables, tassellating the downside, though there are some names that are green here. Health services, though, one of the rare sectors that's really holding up quite nicely for the most part. UNH, up more than 1%. They closed pretty strong yesterday as well. Some of these distribution names are strong. And here, consumer non-durables, Philip Morris actually held up decently yesterday. They're red, as is Coca-Cola, but Pepsi holding up decently here. Same with Mondelez. So there are some areas of strength to be found in most of these sectors, even though very much the board is actually somehow weaker than yesterday, guys. Back to you.
Somehow weaker, yeah. To your point about getting I woke up to texts today, and I was like, why is my phone doing this? And then someone was like, oh, wow, looks like another crazy day in the market. I'm like, I didn't even look yet, and we had heard about that. So yeah, Dara, I think you're right, man. Somehow we are even more nasty than we were yesterday.
Like I need a hair. Like I'm probably gonna see, but actually I need to see my barber. I know exactly what he's gonna ask me about. And as I said, it's like cousins, uncles, everybody's reaching out. They're like, "What's going on here?" And you know, one of the things you can do, which makes a heck of a lot of sense, is go back and look at some monthly charts. Look at that drop that we had in the post-COVID drop. The COVID drop and the post-COVID drop was bigger in 2021. Go back and look at 2008. I know people don't want to do that kind of a thing. Go back and look at the dot-com bubble burst and understand those types of time frames if that's what ends up happening, and understand what your risk parameters in your long term, how close to your retirement, like that kind of a thing. Like just do your own work to know your own time horizons. As far as the trade goes, look, the NASDAQ, we're at 4-3 to the downside, and you're pretty much cresting the lows right here. Oh, the other thing, while we're here, one of the reasons why I think got to look cover, the SPY is at the higher low support from the August bottom. So you have the wick bottom on the SPY, but you have the support that formed right after, which is right at that 516. You are literally blowing through it as we speak. So you're losing. Goodness, I shouldn't be on the bid of anything. You should be holding short. Like you're literally losing the bid that we held support from that yen carry trade bottom break. And like literally as that happened, I said literally way too much now, you got a big spike to the downside. So Amazon's the only thing holding bids right now. So I feel like if we see it bounce off VWAP, I am flat out punching out of this. Like why are we, NASDAQ's holding the low. The ES obviously didn't. Yeah, follow your rule, you know. Yeah, if it shows a bounce, when we're at that major support level, my rule is on a mean reversion trade that you take it out. So we did it on Apple, and it was the right thing to do. I know the market's trending down. There's Apple. Like the first short was good, and then I go long. Like, if I just stick with the short on Apple, isn't it crazy? If ifs and buts were candy and nuts.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what my mother didn't used to say that. My aunt used to always say that one, but it's not her quote. But the Apple right down at those lows of the day. We'll see if it ends up being the right decision to have gotten out of Amazon there. But NASDAQ's at that bottom. ES is at that low. If it bounces, I see Amazon right back up at the top because it's one of the strongest names out there. Tesla, yikes. Under 220?
Yeah.
So there's almost no chance. There's almost no chance we get to 220 today because that would be another 10% down from here. But on Monday, Tesla will be SSR. And if it sees 220 when it's SSR on Monday, you're going to have to take a look at it. But this is wild. I mean, you've got to be kidding me. Why didn't I stay short in Apple? Yeah. I covered Amazon, and it's still holding on to VWAP. But there's almost no way it's going to hold up here. Bitcoin's at that low. It doesn't seem like it wants to hold out. It is an absolute dumpster fire.
Down 5%. We could break.
So typically speaking, I'm not saying we're going to get to 7%. But if you get to the halt bottom, I know it sounds counterintuitive, but the money trade is to find a long position off of that. The hard part is finding a safe one if you get to that halt band. Because it's not as simple as the futures. Like, you want to find something that you don't mind being in as if the market goes into a halt and then comes out of it to the downside, which is a tricky part. I'm not saying I have an answer to that, but over lunchtime, I'll at least be thinking about where's the safe place to do that. So Amazon, at least for now, is holding on. I can tell you guys, and we should be looking at this a little bit more often, I promised I would, this is what the VIX is doing. And the VIX is still $3 away from the overnight high. So when you're looking at the futures at support levels, well, volatility is nowhere near where it turned last time. But I think this is another bit of an indicator. If you're looking to maybe pick some bottoms, maybe allow it to get up here, do a little bit of a curl and a crest, and if we have like some kind of a mean reversion on VIX, then you can like your longs a little bit better. That's the kind of thing I'm going to be looking for at this point, which requires a lot of patience because you're really far away from that top. I can fix the scaling. I don't know why I don't fix the scaling for you guys. There, whoops, and I just zoomed the entire thing.
Oops.
Yeah, I just did that. There you go. See a little bit better. So we're like 45.5, and we're only at 43.3 on the VIX. So if we get up there, then I can start looking for maybe reversion longs, and you get a little bit more confirmation that you're looking good. So patience, everybody. Probably going to kick myself for getting out of Amazon, but if I type in Amazon on that and not on my P Pro 8. But, you know, you can only try to take the next trade.
Right.
You know, that's the only thing you can do. Like, as I look at it, Amazon, oops, what's that blue ocean? Amazon's bouncing off you. So for now, it looks like it's holding. I don't want the long here. It just, you know, ideally, I want to try to re-enter a short position in Amazon. I just don't want the long, but rule was taken out for profit. D. Dwyer, 7% is where the circuit breaker halts are, not 5%.
Oh.
If we were at 5, if the NASDAQ circuit breaker was 5%, volume would be going through the roof right now. It's big volumes at these bottoms, but if we were right on the precipice, volumes would be out of control, and they're not. So if we get to 7%, trust me, you're gonna know when we cross 6. If we cross 6, I should say, nothing's certain.
Wow. I was looking like this Palantir is pretty low, man. When we switched over to the NASDAQ, we came over at 60. It's like at 73 right now. As, yeah, what goes up definitely is coming back down here today. Like, this is just like all these levels that we wrote down as like key levels seem to have been like the breaking spots there. We haven't even thought about going back to the upside here on Palantir yet. You're now down 5%, man. Yeah, I think this Amazon short, if it breaks, could be something there as well. We are getting lit up now down to the downside. I think you're right there, hamster. Algos do not care about anything today as the market just keeps on bleeding. There's Palantir 7250. So everything's turned on right now, and it's risk down right now, risk off, and everything goes down when it's risk off. So even Apple to the downside now. All right, it's 10.50. Let's go find out what's going on with the dollar, at least with the era.
Just a reminder, too, Jerome Powell will be taking the podium at 11:25 a.m. Eastern. So in just under half, or just over half an hour from now, we'll get comments from Fed Chair Jerome Powell. I think probably a very apt way to begin our Money Talk segment, which of course is about the U.S. dollar and the economy. Big gap down here yesterday for the DXY. Today, though, actually starting to battle back. Worth noting, we're not even close to making up for yesterday's drops. But as of right now, around that 102.63 level. Yesterday we closed in and around just below 102. So decent battle back for the DXY today. Now let's take a look at that CME Fed Watch tool, because it's always interesting to know what's happening with rates. So right now, 59% of participants still expecting we're not going to get a cut in May, but 41% expecting a 25 basis point cut. This went up considerably from yesterday, almost doubling from yesterday. Yesterday, about 22% of participants expecting that cut. So nice increase here in the amount of participants, getting maybe a little bit more dovish for the May meeting, June meeting right now. 43% of participants are expecting here a 50 basis point cut, and another 52% expecting a 25 basis point cut. So basically by June, we are absolutely pricing in at least one rate cut there, at least one 25 basis point rate cut. Let's get in here too and just take a moment to thank our friends at ProfitX. Looking for unbeatable odds in the biggest games? Switch to ProfitX's peer-to-peer platform, where you set the price. No more one-size-fits-all lines. It's like crafting your own picking strategy with real-time trading tools. Secure the best odds, track the action, and watch your plays come alive. Experience total control at every step. ProfitX, sports playing reimagined. Users can use code TRADERTV to get our sign-up offer of 2% cash back up to $300. Back to you.
I mean, Amazon just flushed down into 170. We took advantage and bought the futures, so we're now 50 handles in the money. Like, why I just don't trade the futures, I'll never know, but there it goes right there. Huge move now back to the upside there on that flush, and then just a retracement back. So we'll start to take some more out, man. Now 60 handles in, as it's now bouncing off the lows. I don't really know why, but we just had a huge move back up, so it just is, right? So there it goes, man. Good move back up to the upside now for the futures. Let's see how far we can go now. Take something out, I guess, at 20s, might as well. There it goes. See ya, futures. Bye-bye. You know, that was a good one. So we tried to catch the bottom. It looks like we did do that. So nice trade right there. Palantir, whoopsies, that's Nvidia. Okay, Nvidia bounces off 92, wow. And then we were just looking at Palantir down there at 72 now, $1.50 upside. So looks like the market is finally starting to go here. Does Tesla find a bottom at 236? That's up $4 or $5. Everything right now, Rip City in the market. So good job if you're able to find those bottoms. We did it on the futures, but we've gotten hit on everything else there today. So futures for the win, everything else for the loss for me. We were slightly up on Nvidia and Palantir, but down on Google, down on Tesla.
So there was the market just caught I'll show you the wicks in a quick little second. We took a reversion back into IBIT, but I'm respecting VWAP on the way back up on anything. This is the only long that I got, but I'll respect VWAP and try to get out in front. Like I said, mean reversion trades, aplenty. Let me just quickly show you guys the SPY. Got that fill. So this is the wick on the SPY at 510. So this is what's happening. And then you shot with Sean the NASDAQ, SPY NASDAQ, same thing. But that was a big bottoming tail. I went over to Tesla first because I didn't have that level 2 up to see if that trend break was available. But by the time I even looked at it, it was already blowing through $2 higher. So that's how quickly and rapidly the market is moving. As I said, like, look for whatever, as far as I'm concerned, like, Bitcoin never broke support. It still hasn't broken the 81,000 support. So I just like this one long because I feel as if you've got a little bit of protection underneath you. There's going to be liquidity down there. It's selling, but it's not panic selling. So I've been kind of focusing on that one to the long side. So I want to try to take the reversions long, breakouts long, dip buys long on this. But if you just made that bottoming tail wick, there's probably a lot of other things that look really, really good. Sean said Nvidia, I think you did.
Yeah. I mean, everything bounced.
And what's crazy about Nvidia just bounced $1.50 to only now try to break the downtrend from the morning. Think about that. It just bounced $1.50 and hasn't even broken the downtrend yet. That's insane. Insane. I don't even know how you form an entry off of that. Intel 20 even maybe. Yeah, Intel, that was a straight up guess that Intel maybe was bouncing off 20. I didn't know it was bouncing off 20 exactly, but this is also trying to break trend. Yeah, I like this. I'm going to like Intel here if we close above this trend line. Play it into VWAP because VWAP is a prior level where we tried the long, so support into resistance and all that good stuff. So we close this, it's almost 11 o'clock. If this bar, we close it above the trend line, I'm punching long Intel, or we just punch long this little break here above the 50 and play it into VWAP at the $0.50, which is great because Intel, to me, every quarter and $0.50 you take profit.
Yeah, we agreed on that. We have a good trade here, obviously, on the futures, as we took 100 handles. But again, like, there was news there that, Charles Gasparino posts on X there that he's heard that Scott Bessonette is trying to moderate quietly the president's hard line on trade. So there we go. Yeah, so maybe a little bit of talk there coming through. That was minutes ago. So yeah, that looks like that has maybe sparked a little bit of a rally here in the futures. So yeah, there it is, man. Trump's buying the dips. Yeah, probably. I mean, I think everyone's trying to buy these dips. Just a matter of how dippy are we going to get. But the thing about it is, no matter what, there has to be something for lunch. We can have a quick look at that. So what's going on for Friday? Some people have been requesting this. in the chat. Should be a good day, I would think, here today. They've had some success doing this before. Island curry chicken. It does not say jerk chicken, but island curry chicken with dirty rice, steamed vegetables, and again, here's that word, island coleslaw.
Dirty rice, baby.
Yeah, so dirty market, dirty rice coming today. Should be a good one.
Cook up rice.
Yeah, there we go. Cook it up.
Cook up rice.
There it is right there. Yeah, Joe knows everything. 42.47 right there. Nice move back there to the upside as we're starting to go, man. There's the 100 handles. There's the futures back up to the upside. So, yeah, in what should be a good lunch should also be hopefully a good afternoon of trade. We'll get ready for Obi and Joe there today again for you. But, yeah, the market really wants to go, it seems like anyways. Nice move. Okay, finally. We have a trade on here worth talking about. 125 handles back in the money. So there it goes. We'll let this thing ride to the upside a little bit here. If it still wants to go, we're at 43.89. There it goes. Upside right now, 43.75. Starting to go higher here. Good move. We just told you the story. Let's see what winds up happening now as this market continues to ride a little higher.
Absolutely. With 2 minutes to go here, I did take the trend break on Intel. So it closed above, you guys know the drill, it closed above the trend line. Prior bar is going to be my out. IBIT, VWAP. It's trying to go.
Oh, man.
You pull back, now you're trying to break through. So if it breaks, if I don't get a place to add to this, you got to hold it for the high of the day. So into Intel, Tesla, a huge bounce on Tesla just now. That just got up to 245. And I think this one's headed into the volume weighted average price. You already mentioned, no, you didn't mention Amazon, did you?
Amazon went to 170 on a flush.
And now it's holding VWAP. Amazon's strong today. Amazon's just strong. Just incredibly different. So first things first, I am not reshorting Amazon at this time.
Wow.
If you get to that top, I want no part of it. I think you just made a decisive turn in this market, and I want long entries at this point. So we got two, and I'm looking for a third. I wanted one of the Mag 7 to the long side. Only 1 minute to go. Apple. That's really too far up. Maybe I have to look for some kind of a pullback. I want to find one more thing that we can try to grab along in as well. Oh, yeah, the VIX, everybody. That was the other thing. So gets up right to that top, and there's your reversal. We got right to the overnight high, maybe missed it by a few cents, and then there's your pullback. So what do you think we're looking for next? Where is it going to bounce? If we start bouncing at higher lows on the VIX, take profit on your shorts, or sorry, your longs. There, and to the extent that you have any longs. So watching the VIX today, got to be an important one to pay attention to. We don't always, but I remember it was basically during 2020 and now that we keep an eye on the VIX. Like I have it up on one of my charts at all times, which wasn't the case before, but it's a different market right now. It's a different market.
For sure. With, yeah, I mean, we don't. There's very rarely do you see back-to-back days -4, -4, -4, -5, up 1, down 4, down 3. And it looks like right now we're bouncing again to that 50-period moving average. So a bunch of outs, man, up there at the top. I don't know. Like I want to cover, so we're covering more here on the TQs. Thinking about fading any of these pops for sure, right? I mean, Palantir got all the way back up to $75 there off that 72. And again, nice little turnaround there on some of those moves. So yeah, I mean, thanks for joining us here today. I want to make sure you hit the like, hit the subscribe. You're going to get over to a new stream. So we'll go find out what's going on with the Island Chicken there today. But so far, so good here. You know, thanks for watching. Too bad we let go of that short early, but we grabbed some back now on the TQs. It's been a good day, man. Wow. IBIT, good one. 82.5 right now for Bitcoin. Trying to hold out as well. All right. Yeah, exhausting day. We'll be back, though, at 2 p.m., but for now, it's the Midday Show. It's Joe and Obi. So one last day this week for Obi, then Sharif returns on Friday. Thanks, Obi, for everything. Let's go back on Monday. Today's Friday. Let's go back over to the boys now on the Midday. Thanks.
Yo, what's going on, Trader TV traders? Hope everyone's having a good day today. Crazy stuff in the market. So much to cover. But I'm here. It's your boy Joe, next to my guy, Obi. Oh, I like that shirt that you got going on there. Nice tan color. Yeah. That's how we like to rock there. It's Friday. It's Friday too.
Bears versus Bulls.
Friday Bear versus Bulls is in the chat. It's Friday. It's looking good in Toronto weather-wise, so everybody's spirits are lifted. That's for sure. Let's wait till everybody starts rolling into this chat here, Obi, and then we're gonna start doing some roll call. I still got to even time in. I was waiting for that link, so here we go. We're going to get into some open interest very, very shortly, but we're going to do some roll call before we do. So just loading up the chat here now, guys. As the market is starting to take a little bit of a bounce here, positive, another big gap down day. Are those contrarian moves going to come into play here later on today, guys? Maybe, I don't know. We'll just have to be patient, wait and see. But I'm still waiting for this to load. I don't know why it takes so long to load up here, Obi, but hopefully that will get the ball.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to refresh the page.
Yeah, I've been refreshing, though. Let's see what we can. Fresh, ever fresh. That's one of my buddy things.
Sometimes you gotta close the tab and then
close the tab and then refire it up.
You tried turning it off and on again.
Turn it off and on and again. We're gonna do a lot of things here. Maybe
wow, look at this bid that's coming in on the market.
Yeah,
wow,
big pop here in the market, guys. Let's see what everybody's up to. Come on, chat. Obi, do you have the chat up on your
I got the chat up.
All right, here. Roll call.
Bob Bruce saying, we have to look for shorts guarantee. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. I'm looking at this price action, man. I'm like, yeah, when can I revert it? Adam DeLuz, what's up? What's going on? Darwin's in the house here. Guillermo Sanchez, what's going on? Thank you for being here as well. Greg Moore. Hot fire, yeah, this market is hot fire on the day today as well. Casey, what's up? What's going on? I'm excited to hear what ideas you have on the day today. Darwin saying Trump just had a very productive call. Okay, all right, we can take a look at that as well. Monty G in the house as well. We got Racer X9, Daryl Finch, what's going on? Jose Perez, Brian Collins, and New Mexico Misfit. I'm seeing a little bit of everybody here. Normal special, I like that one there.
Normal special.
Epic strategy, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for some epic strategies out here.
It's a good one, yeah. Send that my way, my guys. So
you got the chat. You got
no, we still can't load her up though, but that's okay. We're gonna get right into this lesson here. That's my guy, Fabian. Okay, yeah, I'll log out. Yeah, I'll log in, log out there. We're gonna get into the lesson here, guys, and I'll be sure to hop in the chat with you. You can see Apple, nice little bounce right here. Let's see if that can be continued. Oh, that's even better. Let's go. Come on, come back. No. Yeah, a lot of tech.
Shake it.
I kept shaking it. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Sometimes you gotta
give. There we go. We got the chat up here now too. Your boy is live in the chat. What's up? There we go. Just need to shake it like I'll never do that again. I promise. I promise I'll never do that again. All right. Just sorry.
That's good. That's fine.
Yeah, exactly. That's all that matters, guys. Glad to see everybody. Catman Dio. I'm gonna give a couple shout outs here to the regulars. Let's see where all my people are at. Mr. Easy Street, Epic Strategy, we like that one. The New Mexico Misfit, Jose Perez, my guy, Koreb, Lo-Fi Soul. I like Lo-Fi Girl, listen to that all the time, good stuff there. And Lo-Fi Geek, too. I like Lo-Fi Geek and Lo-Fi Girl. I'll just put that in the background. What's going on, Casey, friends? Half-AM, Yesen, Daily Day Trade, and everybody else. All right, guys, there's a lot going on in the market here, so we want to get right back in. We're going to go through half of this lesson, and then we're going to start talking about some stocks, because that's what we are here for. Let's go. All right, guys, in options trading, call walls and put walls refer to price levels where there is a significant concentration of open interest in call or put options. This is why we talk about it every single day. This is what I'm referring to, everyone. These levels often act as support or resistance in the market due to hedging activity by market makers and traders. One, understanding call walls and put walls. Now, if you've always been curious on why, oh, look at this strike price, 240, we got 30,000 open contracts. This is exactly why we are looking at those things, all right? So understanding call and put walls, a call wall, a price level where there is an extreme high amount of call open interest. That is very simplistic definition. Acts as resistance because many traders have bet that the price will not go beyond this level. There was a $10 super chat this morning on Tesla asking about 240. I'm going to pull up the chain, and there might be a wall at 240, even though we may have gone through that. now you can see that it's accelerated to the downside, all right? So market makers may sell calls at this level and hedge by shorting the underlying asset, reinforcing the resistance level, okay? So a put wall, a price level where there's an extremely high amount of put open interest, so the inverse of the call wall. Access support because many traders have bet that the price will not drop below that level, okay? Market makers may sell puts at this level and hedge by buying the underlying asset, reinforcing support there, all right? So example, if the stock is trading at $95 and there is a massive call wall at 100, price may struggle to break above 100 due to resistance created by hedging dynamics and options positioning. 2, so what is open interest and how it relates to call and put walls? All right, so open interest is the total number of outstanding options contracts that have not yet been closed or exercised. Volume and open interest, 2 different things, all right? High OI at a certain strike price, that level is significant because many traders have placed trades there. High OI in calls, possible resistance, call wall, high open interest, and puts, possible support, put wall. And that's why I talk about looking at the open interest from a day-to-day basis on the 0 DTEs in the likes of SPY and in the likes of Qs that can give you a potential range and what that underlying asset is going to trade at, okay? So how does it affect price movement? If OI decreases, it means positions are being closed. Market sentiment is weakening at that level. I've seen it happen before. I've seen 30,000 contracts being dropped one time on Nvidia, and then we just went through the roof, all right? So, okay, we're going to answer a question here. I have a question, Joseph. Open interest on a spread I bought. Am I screwed on my trade if it closes? I have a question. 0 open interest on a spread I bought. Am I screwed on my trade when I close it? No, you shouldn't be screwed on the open interest whatsoever. You just want to make sure that that contract itself is liquid, okay? So, example, if open interest at the $100 strike for calls is large, market makers may hedge by shorting the stock as price approaches 100, making it harder to break through. If OI at 90 strike for puts is massive, market makers may hedge by buying the stock near 90, creating more support levels, okay? So let's take a prime example and look at some high levels of open interest. This was Nvidia earnings. Wow, Nvidia now trading south of 100. This is when right before the earnings, but look at 140. Look at 140. That is an outstanding amount of open interest, and before the earnings report, it even grew drastically. Did Nvidia exceed 140? Absolutely not. It did not. It tanked and continued to move lower. Those levels coming in as acting as possible resistance, and it came into play there, okay? So we had an equal amount almost on the call and put side that is pinning what we like to refer to as options pinning and giving us the inability to climb any higher there. So focus on those there. Focus on that there, guys. We're going to get back to that lesson, but first we're going to go to Aldeyra and see what she's got. Breaking news, guys.
I just want to recap here some of these market moves we just had. So here's RH. This one actually holds into the upside on this push. This declined 40% yesterday. Basically what happened here is, of course, Charles Gasparino, who is a frequent Fox business contributor, posted on X that he's heard sources close to the White House telling him that Scott Bessent, who is the United States Secretary of the Treasury, apparently is trying to quietly moderate Donald Trump's trade tendencies, but him doing so also poses a bit of a downside risk for the market because apparently him doing so flies in the face of Trump's closest allies, who are Trade Advisor Peter Navarro and also Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. So, well, this could be a good force for the market. It could also lead to some wider tensions apparently within the administration when it comes to tariffs. Also worth noting, Donald Trump saying that, quote, this would be a perfect time for Fed Chair Powell to cut interest rates, also saying that apparently Vietnam is communicating to him that they want to do a deal on tariffs as well. So here are some comments coming out on tariffs. RH just opened. We're looking for names that really benefited from that pop to the upside. Retailers certainly on watch. RH and Lululemon both making massive upside pops. With that little recap over, I'll send it back to you.
Thank you for that, Aldeyra. Yeah, guys, make sure you hit that like and subscribe here. We got 6,000 people watching. We're going to talk a lot of stuff today. We're going to talk tariffs, and we're going to get right into the volatility in these markets. Obi was referring to the VIX earlier today, and we're definitely going to be getting into the VIX because it's options related.
No, for sure. I think today I woke up in the morning and I saw earlier on, I was like, oh boy, a VIX of 45.
Yep.
And the first thing that started happening was I started drooling. No, I'm joking. I was just like, all right, well, the volatility is extremely high. This is one of the days we speak of. You know, we're like, oh, remember when that event happened and VIX was in the 40s, VIX was in the 30s, right? And I was looking at it yesterday and I was like, all right, we're stepping up a little bit. We wound up a couple weeks ago for the past couple of weeks. We've been winding up a little bit on the VIX. We finally get that push. Aggressive push higher here. Wow, Amazon's about to break its high today. This is absolutely crazy here. But again, a little bit of volatility, reversion that happened in the pre-market. So I was watching this, and I talked to Neil about this in the morning as well, and Sean. I was like, yeah, I'm going to be watching UVIXI for off of the open, UVXY. The thing was, I tried to get a little bit short in the morning right here when UVIXI was holding this 37 area. Didn't really get filled right away. Canceled my orders. It ended up going down to 34s, and I was like, oh boy, I wasn't very happy about missing that trade. You can see that it kind of rejection of that VWAP as well on the UVIXI that comes in, that confluences with that 37 level, also some pre-market structure as well. But we've bid up since then. We went up all the way, almost back to 40 with a 39.71 high here on the UVIXI, all the way back down to its lows. One ticker that I was watching, so I missed a couple trades on that. I took a couple trades on the TQs. I was watching this on Amazon. I know that Neil was pointing it out. I was actually looking at this trend first. I got started pretty early. You can see here on my chart. I got started on this little pullback, and then I'm like, all right, well, we might take another leg up. But I did well to stay relatively light. I did kind of risk a little aggressively up here, but it kind of was just as aggressive when it did come back down. Unfortunately, though, didn't hold anything for the puke into that 170. That was really nice. I covered pretty much everything in and around that 173 mark. That was a big fumble on my part. Just had to wait a few more minutes for it to capitulate and push right into 170. And I think the average ended up being, I think I was in the high 170s. 4s, 175, low 175s-ish with most of that average there. So I kind of like my price there, but yeah, got to do a little bit better for holding that. But this is absolutely wild. We came all the way right back up. Nice bounce off of that 170. So yeah, the VIX is definitely moving around here. A little bit of reversion happening on the overall bigger picture. Because yeah, we kind of gapped down pretty decently, but you can see that Amazon's pushing back into prior days levels here. We can take a look at Nvidia as well. Nvidia not quite there just yet. VWAP sellers pretty dominant on Nvidia off of the open and the continuation. We were watching this. That 100 failure to follow through on Nvidia right off of the open kind of told us right away who was in charge and who might be in charge for the foreseeable future right off of the open in the morning session. So I did take that into consideration while making a few decisions there on Nvidia. Again, Nvidia being one of the leaders of said market. And we can take a quick look at Tesla as well. Tesla kind of wicked that 250 something right there. Okay, so that was 260, 261. We're trading just below 250. 250s right now at 248.70 VWAP. So got an eye on this one. Let's see if VWAP sellers come right back in. One of my morning plans was very similar to yesterday's, where I was looking for continuation of sellers stepping right back in on VWAP. Not every ticker is doing that. You can see that Amazon is distinctly different, but Apple, Softy, Alphabet, Tesla, Nvidia, all still below their day lows, as Amazon relatively strong and definitely pushing aggressively to the upside. Not really much else really acting like that, other than, okay, well, I just pulled up my my chip basket here. ARM is actually relatively strong in the chips. A lot of the chips just trading in and around their VWAP and making lower highs. As of right now, Nvidia almost pushing up into that VWAP, as we can see right here. But yeah, take a look at ARM. Look at that. That strength on ARM, absolutely aggressive here. What else are you guys watching on a day like today? Again, that tariff continuation kind of happening on the day today in the pre-market as well. We saw a little bit of reciprocal tariffs kind of coming in from China, and that bringing in the volume to carry out and draw out the rest of the move. Another leg down that we're seeing here with some catalyst-driven volume that came in the morning. Walmart looking interesting as well. I do have eyes on a few staples here. Let's take a quick look at the map and take a look at what sectors might be green, what sectors might be red as well. I'm expecting lots and lots of red. So let's see what we have in store here on the map. So take a quick look at that. Boom. So a lot of red here I'm seeing, Joe, but take a look at that. UNH, actually UNH was on my watch list this morning, and because it was the only one kind of bid up, and I think Aldeyra was talking about this one in the morning as well. She was looking at UNH, I'm pretty sure, for that continuation. One of the only tickers that really bid up yesterday while the rest of the market kind of sold off, and you can see that today we're seeing that continuation. It is up about 1%, while the rest of the market is taking a little bit of a bath here on the day. But consumer cyclicals, DHI is up 4%. Let's take a look at this DHI and see what's going on over here. DHI, you know, when things are doing things that are distinctly different, I definitely want to keep eyes on here. You can see that it's doing about 5-6 times our vol, and would you look at that, straight to the upside here on the day. How much volume has it done? 2.5 million shares on the day, with a float of 278 million shares I'm seeing here. So DH Gordon up on some decent volume on the day. So that, I guess that one's getting bought up here as well. Let's see what else. Do we see, what is that, ED up 1.2%, Pepsi up 0.5% here. Let's see what else. DHI, Len, and NVR, I don't know what that one is here. TJX also up 1%, man.
So we got a $5 super chat here. Oh yeah. Let's go over the super chat here. Nicole Harris, do you think Amazon is moving off TikTok news, debating holding call over the weekend? Well, I hope you haven't been in those calls during this gap down, because that would be ugly, and I really hope that they're further dated out. TikTok news, not so much. 34% tariffs from China, I think so. Around the board, so that's why I think it's getting hit a little bit more heavier, discretionary, right? Because at the end of the day, you can get what you can get off of Amazon at your local superstore and everything along those lines. So yeah, I think it's just, here, we're gonna pull it up, to be honest with you, because I'm looking for that kind of contrarian aspect in that view here, Obi, from a daily perspective, because we've already played a bounce on this. And this is a really big engulfing candle. This closed as a hammer, but this is waterfall type price action on the daily. So not a good look whatsoever here on Amazon. We're gonna go what approximately we're down right now. Is that what we're trading at? 173, 28%, 35% from peak to trough there, guys. So we'll get a bounce eventually. Now we're sitting. What are we sitting at? Some February 24, so that's a year ago levels, a little bit more, right? So there you go. What's gone in the S&P? We had back-to-back 20 years, 20% years. Not so much anymore. Well, I guess you can still calculate it, but we're just getting right back into those levels here as well, too, guys. So you can see now we're back. Let's see. Let's bring this March of 24, right? So there you go. All these gone in a matter of a couple of months. But again, this could be a positive sign, right? If we close on this hammer, you can see that we have multiple gap down days, double gap down. And Obi, I know that you are familiar with a specific strategy with the double gap down strategy. Am I correct?
I think it was the gap up one.
Is it the gap up? Would that be okay? So
gap
maybe
down is a totally different
system. Okay, so maybe we create that, right? You can see that we're forming this hammer right here, guys. So let's see if we can make a play off that. Let's see what Aldeyra's up to.
Retailers that rallied here quite aggressively. So just to recap, there was some indication that apparently, according to Charles Gasparino, frequent contributor to Fox Business, he heard from sources close to the White House that Scott Bessent, who is the U.S. Treasury Secretary, is trying to quietly moderate, quote unquote, Donald Trump's tendencies with regards to these tariffs. So in that story, we had a lot of these retailers push sharply to the upside, a lot of them giving back some of the move, but I want to go over some of them so you have some stocks to look at. CROX ROST. 5 below, which would be FIVE. We also have Lululemon pushing to the upside. RH actually halted to the upside on this move. Home Depot. So keep an eye on any of these retailers that were hit pretty hard on the tariff announcement. If these tariff effects are moderated, that would be a great look for these names, which do have these tariffs stand to hurt their business due to some margin increases there, guys. Back to you.
Aldeyra, and thank you, Nicole Harris, for that super chat. I don't want you to bag hold those calls. I don't know your strike, your expiration cycle, or anything along those lines. If you put that in the chat, we can definitely dive a little bit more deeper into what you got going on from a position standpoint. Until then, I can only give you what we see from a technical standpoint there. Obi, yeah, Epic strategy. I don't bench that much, to be honest with you. Not like a heavy bench guy, more cows, but I can push a little weight, I guess, here and there. So yeah.
It's been years since I touched a bench press. So,
How much do you bet?
how much can I bench?
Me?
Oh, how much do you bench?
The other guy. I can do
25.
No, I could do it a couple reps, but clean 185, clean 10 reps.
Nice.
I'm not going to try to overshoot anything like that. I would go 185, 10, and I'm talking clean.
You work out how many times a week?
6 to 7.
6 to 7 times a week?
Yeah, I work out I do something physical every day of the week.
Nice.
Yeah.
I try to do that as well, yeah. A little bit of,
Try to work out every day.
yeah, try to do a little bit of that every day. A little bit of physical.
Yeah, you got to do that. Exactly. So you go for walks.
I don't
Yesterday I
necessarily
went for a walk.
like, we're trying to join this gym when as soon as it opens up nearby.
Probably 175 right now. Yeah. But mind you, guys, I actually after I got back, sorry, we'll get right because we got a lot of tariff talk here. Since I got back from Jamaica, I've actually cut sugar out of my diet, and it's helped quite a bit there, Obi. So yeah. So completely cut that stuff out. So there you go.
Did we get a call for Aldeyra?
Oh, did we get it? Yeah. So we're gonna go to Aldeyra, more tariff talk here, guys.
Not necessarily tariff talk, but more companies actually delaying IPOs due to tariffs. This is just the NASDAQ here, maybe running into some resistance, but both StubHub and Klarna reportedly delaying their IPOs due to these tariffs coming in from the U.S. administration. This is reported by Wall Street Journal. So Wall Street Journal reporting not one, but 2 major IPOs we were expecting this year, Klarna as early as April, are going to be delayed. Separately, Fed Chair Jerome Powell is set to speak in a couple minutes. I have multiple video streams and feeds watching for this, so I will let you guys know once he takes that podium. It's worth noting, too, right ahead of his comments, we had Donald Trump here, President of the United States, posting on his Truth Social account that he thinks that Jerome needs to lower rates. So keep an eye on this talk here from Fed Chair Jerome Powell. Back to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna look. Obi, you can say what you got going on. I want to look up for a couple of news articles. I know that a lot of people in chat were referring to Vietnam countering with 0% tariffs. So they're like, all right, we need you. We're gonna eliminate our tariffs. So what are you gonna do for us? So I'm gonna look at see if I can find anything on that there, Obi.
Yeah, no, I think again with news on the horizon and things changing every few hours, it would seem the volatility in the market's definitely a little bit expected. Again, like what we were talking about before, VIX of 45, VIX of 40s, 30s. That's pretty wild here on the day. I'm kind of watching what is this? I'm kind of watching XLY right now. XLY a little close. I have a little bit of a dabble here on Nike on that intraday catalyst. As it kind of stalls, that bid that came in kind of stalls a little bit here. But yeah, Amazon with the bid coming in as well. I got eyes on that one. I tried that reversion earlier on. That kind of we're making higher highs and higher lows as of right now, especially with that 170 hold. That was clean. Got to respect that for sure. And yeah, if that's going to come in and continue to hold higher structure, and buyers are going to continue to step up, and the VIX is continue to do a little bit of a pullback, then I do want to be respecting that action and just going with the flow, just waiting and being patient for things to kind of fall into place for me to be like, all right, well, this is the trade that I want to be in. on the day today. But yeah, volatility definitely expected. We're all the way down to 18,000, Joe. So yeah, pretty wild. It was just yesterday we were talking about 19.5, 19.6 consolidation. Is this important? We're just consolidating. Guess what? Leg consolidation. Leg. We're getting more of that selling that we've been more of the same. More of what's been happening over the past couple of weeks there. 3 or 4 weeks of selling. We consolidated for a little bit. We got some more news, and it was I guess more sell the news event. Even though we sold off into it, so more selling.
Obi, I think you nailed that on the head, man. Just keep going on with. You want to go with the flow, right? Not necessarily what I've tried to catch some bounce. Past couple days been rough, no doubt, just full disclosure. But it's already, we bounce back, so we'll get things sorted out. And when the market decides to turn around, we'll be most definitely looking to take advantage of that there, Obi. So yeah. You got anything going on right now?
Nothing. Just in this Nike short that's starting to work a little bit here. I kind of. Here's the thing, man. We talked about that sizing calculator. I did not use it once again. I was like,
on your Amazon trade or your Nike trade?
On my Amazon trade, I did kind of use it, but I could definitely do a little bit better with getting a lot more aggressive. I think there was a point where I was risking break even, and I was talking to Sean about this concept of like if you're risking break even, then you should be in all the size that you're comfortable being in, given whatever risk parameters that you may be following for the trade, right? So, but yeah, let's see what Aldeyra has to say. We can continue this conversation after we're back.
Just be aware here, I'm seeing comments coming out here from Fed Chair Powell. None of the streams that I have up here to see his comments have actually begun, so it looks like these must be prepared comments being released, but I'll read them out here because they are not necessarily super bullish for this market. He did say that possible tariffs could have persistent inflation impact, saying that there's risk of higher unemployment, higher inflation that have been elevated from these tariffs, and that the economic impact of tariffs is likely larger than the Fed and the economy expected. Right now, though, he said the economy is in a good place. So keep an eye on this market. Again, none of these streams that I'm using, and I'm looking at several, show that Fed Chair Powell has begun speaking, but we usually get a release of prepared remarks before the comments anyway. I'm going to keep keeping an eye out there. Back to you.
Good look there, Obi. I'll send it to you in a second. So our good buddy Tom Lee over there at Fundstrap slams Trump's absurd tariff hike, expects a recovery, but says timing is uncertain as market sheds $2.5 trillion in one day there, Obi. So Tom Lee, not overly happy, and we know that he is a tech bull, but with these tariffs coming into play, guys, $2.5 trillion wiped from the books in one day. So there you go, we got some tariffs. But there you go. But see, that's one thing. I believe it's a negotiation tool. Are they going to stick? Are these tariffs going to be at these levels, at these high percentage levels come the end of the year? I don't think so, because other countries are going to want to go to that negotiation table and try to like diminish and find reason amongst all of this chaos to be like, okay, we all need each other. Let's come to a conclusion. We'll go tit for tat. I don't like this, you don't like that, and then eventually everybody will hopefully come to a reasonable conclusion there, Obi.
No, I think, again, I'm not too familiar with some of the past tariff skirmishes that we've had. But yeah, no, I think that again, I'm still learning here. I'm still trying to experience this volatility alongside everybody here. I've never really experienced this kind of market, so it's a good learning experience. I think I'm very grateful to be involved in the markets during these times here as of right now. But yeah, no, I think there's again, like there's a lot of opportunity as well. What I'm seeing is like you got to be patient. When I'm not being patient, when I'm getting myself into a little bit of trouble, but if I'm being patient, being calculated, then things are tending to work a little bit better here. A little bit of a pullback here on XLY, it seems. I'm looking for it to come back into view up here, but we got some news with the down.
Well, it's good to know here, Powell is on the podium. I did find a stream that has him currently talking, so he is speaking, but we're still going to go over some of these, I guess, prepared remarks here, because that's usually what happens first. Basically, he did say that tariffs are likely to raise inflation in coming quarters. More persistent effects are possible, and that it's going to be too soon to say what the appropriate path for monetary policy will be. I think the other thing really here to mention is that he said, because the tariff increases will be larger than expected, the same is going to be true of economic impacts. So because we're seeing larger than expected tariffs, we're going to see larger than expected effects in the economy reverberating through. So keep an eye here on the market dropping on Fed Chair Powell's comments. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Aldeyra. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff going on in the chat. Yeah, crab stock, I can't do anything about that there. So yeah, it's only gonna, let's see what Daryl Finch has to say. It's only gonna hurt American pockets. I also don't see Jerome at this point lowering rates, as it will be a mistake. Joe and Obi, and I mean, there you go, right? So like implementing these tariffs can act as inflationary. I mentioned that with every 100 basis point increase in the tariff can add 10 basis points to inflation. What can happen now as we cut interest rates, so the market necessarily not thinking that we're going to price any in or have any this year, and we decide to go, Jerome decides to do a couple 25 basis point cuts, that can just add to that inflation as well too. So hitting that 2% goal is going to be extremely difficult now, especially with these new measures in place there, Obi.
Yeah, well, I think again, we gotta stay on our feet. That's the biggest thing, especially if we're trading these here markets. Gotta be on your feet. Gotta keep your stops in as well, or risk wide enough that you're accounting for swipe risk, right? So that's another thing as well. So there's multiple different ways to kind of approach this as well. I think I don't know all of them. I know that for a fact. But again, I'm here kind of trying to learn as well. So this is what I was looking at earlier here, just this XLY that I'm watching while I'm in this Nike, a little bit of a reversion back to VWAP on that strong bid that we got. No idea how well this is going to work. If we're going to consolidate, push a little bit higher, definitely be wrong on this. And I would want to respect a little bit of that VWAP hold as well. But VWAP, on the day, the intraday VWAP all the way down at 55.28 here on Nike, and currently the anchored VWAP, we're holding the anchored VWAP from said event. Here we can just throw it up so we can take a quick look at that as well. Where is my anchor? There it is. Here, so there's that volume that comes in, and you can see how nicely we're holding that anchored as a little bit of support as of right now. So that's at 57.51. So let's see if there's any continuation here on Nike as well as XLY with a little bit of that news that's coming in as of right now. Trading back above 58 is going to keep a close eye on this one. Amazon on watch as well. As it pulls back off of that 178, you can see that the futures are taking a little bit of a breather here, kind of trading, chopping around that 18 thou mark here on the NASDAQ. Let's see if that 18 thou acts as a little bit of resistance, and if we continue to, if sellers continue to step down here day after day on these markets. So I don't think the selling is done. We're, again, like I said before, we're doing more of the same that we've been doing for the past couple of weeks, maybe a little bit of more magnitude on the day today as the VIX hits 30s and 40s. So.
Yeah. Yeah, let's pull up the VIX here too, Obi. As we had that massive spike in it, so the fear index coming full into play. I didn't want to do that. There we go. Yeah, wow, Obi, yeah, punching into a high of 45.52 here on that fear and greed index, but now coming in here to the downside, wiping off about 10 points. So yeah, really a massive spike through some of this, excuse me, some of these resistance zones. So there you go, the volatility has completely stepped in to the market. What does that mean there, guys? That means we're going to be paying increased options premiums as well too. So not necessarily a buyer's market just yet, just in case that volatility decides that it wants to cool off, which I do believe it will, because we only have these events so many times a year, and I will go over those statistics here momentarily right after we get back from Aldeyra.
So just be aware, Fetcher Powell's prepared remarks have ended. He's now taking questions from the crowd, so watch out for this market as Fetcher Powell takes some questions from the audience at this event. Guys, back to you.
Thank you for that, Aldeyra. So yeah, guys, something to note. So the VIX has only spiked it's only spiked over 80% a handful of times in its history. And I'm not saying this is going to be the case because we're not there yet. But if you go to previous spikes, whether it be the yen carry trade, and then there was another high-level ranking catalyst oh, the DeepSeek news. So when we have those massive spikes in volatility and the increase in VIX over 80% in one trading session, the market will make a new all-time high in a matter of months. You can go back to the yen carry trading, you can go back to the DeepSeek news. The market ended up constructing a new high. Is that going to be the case here? No, we're quite some ways off of it. But with a high spike in the VIX, this could be some positive signs that we might get a bounce. I'm going to be looking to play those options, those island gaps via options. My guy Gaurav wants me to pull up Hood here for a moment there, Obi, to see what we got going on. I love this daily print. We're down. We're now south of what we were before, and that's going to put us around 52%, 49%, where we're currently sitting at. So that's really key. A 48% haircut here on Robinhood, and if you go back and look at its prior earning report, go back the previous 4 quarters, this company is still growing. Those numbers are really, really well. They're really good, strong fundamental numbers. So a stock like this, in my opinion, doesn't deserve to have a 50% haircut. Again, it doesn't matter what my opinion is, but if you ask me, Obi, with the heightened volatility and heightened volume coming into the markets, I think it's only going to benefit some of these brokers. More transactions, more volume, more participants. I think that's good for some of these brokers, and I think that the Q1 is going to be better than some people expected when they report here in a couple of weeks, Obi.
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely something to consider. Again, a lot more volume definitely brings. Wow, look at that selling. Oh boy, look at that selling on Nike. There it comes in. That reversion coming in real hot. Let's see if we can get down into VWAP there. Oh boy, 57s. No real size at that 57s. Yeah, definitely. So I do agree with you. More volume in the markets means brokers are making more money, right? So it's like at the end of the day, what you have to know is like what they're saying that NASDAQ open 24 hours by 2026. Right? Think about it. They're just realizing that you keep the market open for longer. They're the only ones that are going to be making more money, right?
Yep.
So at the end of the day, they understand that, and they're implementing things that are effective and conducive to their business on that push there, right? So let's see, with this market coming in, XLY came into that VWAP. That's what we're looking for here. So let's see how much further we can go. Is the reversion going to continue to revert here, or are we going to find a little bit of a hold in and around this VWAP here? That flush down into 57 on Nike, getting a little bit bid as of right now, but the move has just started, so I've got to stay a little bit patient with this one and let it kind of work out here. Let's see what the chips are up to. Spider's kind of down as well. Nvidia at 94, so couldn't really get back up to that 100 mark I'm seeing. So that's something to consider. That's something to keep on watch as well on Nvidia. So let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat what you guys are trading. I'd love to see what else you guys think is in play on the day today. Today I came in and I was like, yeah, volatility definitely in play. I wanted to take a piece of the VIX there. A little bit of a trade on the VIX. Didn't quite get in on the entry that I wanted, so I left it alone. I took a shot at the TQs. Wasn't anything that significant there. Didn't really take any significant sizes here. Got stopped out of that one. Again, just a little bit of a dabble. Sometimes I like to just do that. Just throw a little bit of a feeler in there, just to get a taste of the ask there, and how things might be moving around, how things might be filling. So yeah. Nothing. I didn't really have anything else on watch today. We can go over my morning.
Go over your morning trades there.
Morning notes. Yeah. 1 second. Let me just pull that up. Boom. Okay, so morning trade plan. Let's see what was here. Let me just do this. Okay, boom. So VIX at 7:56 a.m. was at 41.19. Oh boy, could have definitely gone into a short there. VIX came all the way down. Yeah, so look for midday continuations, VWAP. That's been kind of the theme. That's been kind of the trade that I've been looking for. It doesn't happen every day, but again, if it's there, that's a reminder to myself to kind of look out for that. I'm like, okay, watch the strong selling on tariff news. Look for potential continuation, like the gap give and go. Like look for the bid to dissipate before getting involved in the short. Let sellers show you that they're in charge before getting involved. I think that's pretty simple there, and I have execution sets for that as well. Watch out for SSR as well. I'm reminding myself because a lot of tickers are sold off. Might not be able to get into shorts right off the bat. You have to provide liquidity in order to get into some of those shorts. So watch out for SSR was a reminder. I was like, VIXI, keep this on watch. Look for the overall reversion. Keep stops on prior structures. VIX is another, VXX is another vehicle. But guess what? That reversion all the way from 40s already happened in the pre-market. So I was like, that trade is off the table because that trade was so good. It already happened in the pre-market session. We went to 45. We reverted 50%. So the thing, I always say this, what has the highest probability of reversion overall? And it's almost always volatility, right? So volatility has the highest probability of reversion, and we saw a 50% reversion on volatility just in the pre-market session this morning. So that trade, I kind of missed out on there. So two more tickers that I had on watch, totally unrelated, not really, stuff that maybe not everyone's really looking at. And that was DD. They had the China probe there, and I was like weekly breakdown at 61. Again, looking for that view up hold, looking for sellers to stay in charge. Didn't really pay too much attention to it. Starbucks trend breaking down below multi-week consolidation. Didn't really take a look at that one here. But let's take a look quickly at those two tickers, SPUX and DD, and see what they kind of did there. So I was like, look for a continuation off of anchored VWAP or VWAP, right? And you can see that VWAP has been holding. We've been holding kind of lower highs. It's not perfect, but you get the gist. We're downtrending, right? So that's the idea there on Starbucks. DD, oh boy, wow, look at that. Look for sellers to be in charge right off of the open, flushes off the VWAP, flushes opening range low on the 3-minute, and then flushes that 5-minute opening range low as well for a strong continuation off of, what is that, 59 breakdown, goes all the way to a low day at 56s, and now we're reverting that move back. So again, lots of opportunities in this market. Didn't really capitalize on everything that I planned for, but again, where's the next trade? That's what I'm asking. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I know I'm going to miss a lot of trades in this kind of market. The thing is, you just got to be ready for the next one and just protect the mental, and that's what I'm trying to do as best as I can.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one for sure. So. I mean, yeah, that's a good point, guys. We've got another $5 super chat here. Do you have a favorite candlestick pattern that you feel more confident trading? That's a great question. We'll go over this really quickly. Hammer candle at VWAP or at the lows, and then I'm going to show you guys Apple. This is one of my favorite setups, another hammer candle. So go back to our lessons, check out the VPA lessons, and that's exactly those signals that I have more confidence in taking up right there. And then hood, we can even take this from a daily perspective, a nice isolated pivot, potentially island gap for a bounce there. We're going to be looking at the options chain very momentarily on that one. Let's see what Aldeyra's up to, guys.
Victor Powell saying that it's too soon to say with any certainty how the market is going to be impacted by these tariffs, or how the economy is going to be impacted. He says we'll probably get a better idea in about a year from now. So Victor Powell basically saying more or less we're going to have to wait and see how these impacts things. But he also said that it's a good time to step back and let things clarify. Again, they cannot necessarily give an idea of monetary policy response that would be appropriate as of yet. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Aldeyra. Just more tariff talk here, guys. So on January 19, the average weighted tariff was about approximately 2.7%. With the projected increase, the average weight would now move to about 10.9% or 11%. All right. So with every 100 basis point increase in the weighted average price, it's roughly about 10 basis points of core inflation. So that's why individuals are worried about reigniting inflation and making the Fed's job significantly harder to get to that 2% goal there, OB. So yeah, I think it's multiple things can happen, all right? So you can go to a more fair trading system. Option 2, they decide to implement reciprocal tariffs, and you just go tit for tat until agreements are made. So that's kind of what I was referring to earlier, but that can also lead to some stagflation as well too there, OB.
Yeah, for sure. We're getting a little bit of a bid here back on the market. Again, the market kind of chopping around this 18,000 mark that I have on watch. I'm really curious to know what we do in and around here. If we continue down or we continue sideways. Again, we've been kind of just chopping and consolidating, right? You can see since about, what is this? Since about, I gotta see what that is, about 7:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. We've been kind of holding this range between this 18.3-ish down to 17.9s. We've been pretty much trading within that range. I'm sure we broke down a little bit lower. We flushed down into 17.600s as well, right there, and then nice little bit back up into that 18,000. But technically, we are making lower highs as of right now here on the market. So I do have that on watch. Not really looking at anything else. I want to know what you guys are watching. So throw that up in the chat, and we can take a quick look at those tickers as well. Some of the volume leaders as well on the day. Again, wow, we've been seeing this ICCT quite frequently. This one on the board more frequently than others here. Volume leader ICCT, interesting stuff. Again, I know people have been watching this over the past few days, doing some relative volume as well, and moving a decent amount. Again, we opened up yesterday in and around what, sub $2. It would seem sub $3-ish, and then current day high is 761. So absolutely wild on that one there. Nice little multi-day mover here on ICCT. Actually, I want to know what the market cap and the float might be for that one. Wow, 1.68 million float. Yeah, that'll do it. And where is that market cap? So 13 million market cap. So yeah, don't necessarily need a lot of dollar volume to move this guy around here. But yeah, Nvidia kind of holding that view up. So it seems like view up sellers are showing us who's in charge. Tesla as well. Ford kind of chopped the other way. A little bit more of a bid there. Lucid to the downside as well. Palantir to the downside. American Airlines, okay, wow, that's a nice little V-shaped recovery, almost back to its day highs, not there just yet, but pretty much a valiant effort with that one there, with a nice little bit back up towards day highs. QBTS, oh boy, yeah, this quantum sector has been bleeding off of its recent highs as well pretty nicely. So yeah, that thing's continuing to kind of bleed off here. $6.53 currently on that one. Intel, I was watching this one as well off of the morning session there. Nice little flush. We saw that again. This kind of coincided with that Nvidia 100 failure to follow through, and that came in real hot as well. So again, more of the same here on some of these chip tickers. Intel to the downside. VWAP sellers maybe holding some dominance here on not just the chips, but a lot of different tickers here. Rivian, wow, look at this one. Now, that's a strong bid that came in, again, in and around that 1051 mark, and we've been holding higher highs and higher lows since that volume came in on Rivian, so that could be an interesting look there. SoFi, a little bit of the same kind of ticker. A lot of these tickers, I'm noticing, we're going through the volume leaders on the day, everything is kind of held that VWAP. Sellers are definitely dominant in this market. You don't have to look very far to kind of realize that. Wow, rig as well. Let's take a look at Oxy. We know we were looking at oil yesterday. Wow, more continuation.
What you see there, Obi, sorry, I'm pointing at it like you guys can see what I'm pointing at, but you can see in a lot of the names that we constructed those lower highs. Right, so on that second pop, and that's where you're referring to that kind of the VWAP seller stepping in, and then just bringing it back. You get the elastic effect in the indicator, and then it just comes right back down. So yeah, that's a very valid point, guys. I just want to mention one thing before I send it back to you, Obi. I know a lot of you guys are trading options, etc. Just understand with this increase in volatility, I'm looking at the money IVs. You're paying out the yin yang for those premiums because of the implied volatility. So you're paying extremely more for those contracts because that implied volatility has increased there. I just wanted to add that there, Obi, so you can continue.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that's important to consider. And again, I'm not really watching the options market as close as you are, but I'm sure today there's a lot of great opportunity. Things are going absolutely wild as well, right?
Why?
Especially when we get these gap downs and gap ups. Yeah, exactly.
It's the IV. That's where you'll get crushed. Like, see, one thing. So I think it's kind of like, you know, the reference in the housing market is the buyers, it's the sellers market, etc. The exact same thing happens in the options market. When we have heightened levels of volatility, you don't necessarily want to be buying options when we're at those peaks. That is a options seller's market. Why? because what you're trying to, I guess, and I don't want to say anticipate, but what the overall goal is that you, as an option seller, you want to be able to collect the most amount of premium possible. All right. So with heightened volatility and the chance of it starting to dwindle as countries start to come out and say, hey, we're going to hit the bargaining table, etc., what you have now done is you sold options at peak implied volatility, and that allows you to collect premium as that volatility starts to decay as well. So that's what you want. That is your goal when you are selling options. Now let's look at the inverse of that, okay? So if I were to be buying options at increased volatility markets, essentially what happens is you need that volatility to be sustained. Otherwise, day by day, as it dwindles and your underlying asset isn't appreciating as much as you would like, then you're going to be losing value in those contracts solely due, let alone to theta decay. And well, delta decay is a whole different story. That's charm, more or less. But as you continuously go day by day, as you are buying options, you're going to lose money to theta and the decrease and the decay in implied volatility. That's why heightened volatility are options sellers' dreams, especially when they have found the peak in the VIX or in the or in some underlying assets there, Obi. So there's my minute on my options minute rant.
Thank you very much. Thanks again to Joe for giving us that options wisdom there. Yeah, that's definitely not one of my strong suits, and I'm always learning from Joe with the options knowledge there. But yeah, no, Nike as of right now just kind of consolidating in and around that 58. XLY is holding, just consolidating on top of that VWAP, on top of its VWAP right now. Market's kind of trying to come back into that 18,000 here again. Like I said, it might be a little bit of a level of interest here, this 18,000, and we're kind of chopping around that as well. We saw that kind of happen around the 19 level as well, and some other prior levels as well. So let's see what we do. We're breaking up above it, so catching a little bit of a bid here. Is it a bid across the board? Perhaps, yeah, a little bit of a bid across the board coming in here. You can see both these futures kind of ticking up a little bit. Let's see how long this bid kind of lasts. Do we kind of sustain some of this downtrend that we've been having, or do we just kind of consolidate? Sometimes, sometimes when we've had very strong moves, maybe you get some continuation, maybe you get some strong moves off of the open, but I think consolidation is definitely always one of the options that might be on the table as well. And today could very much be a very consolidative day, as we did kind of gap a little bit decently, right? We sold out pretty decently.
Just participants getting exhausted, more or less, I think, at this point, right? Like eventually, with the volatility, you'll see one side of the party eventually just be like, hey, we're exhausted, and then that will give the ability for the opposite side, whether it be the bears or the bulls, to start to take advantage. So in this case, what we're essentially looking for is exhaustive volume from a daily standpoint, all right? So we want to be able to identify those. We showed you through examples on Amazon and why we exactly took those swing trades. And then that's kind of going to be the game plan here. We got Apple down 4%. I'm going to take a look at my good friend Robinhood as well, because I started to slowly grab some shares. So we're going to grab some more, but Robinhood taking a beating as well too, Obi, down 10% on the session, 9.7 to be exact. So what can we do? We're going to start looking for those exhaustive volume signatures. We're going to be looking for those indecision candle prints on a daily perspective. And with that, that's going to give us the ability to base some trades off of it. And that's exactly what we're looking for. Never let a crisis go to waste is one of my favorite sayings. And I think that we're in those environments. I was talking to Sean this morning. I'm like, hey, man, I'm thinking of just going cash right now. I mean, a whole year of gains is essentially already wiped. So if I hold on to one of my largest holdings, which is doing perfectly fine, but now I'm just kind of back at ground zero. For me, if I do believe that we may see some lower prices in the future, I think that earnings is going to be really, really key. Q1 earnings is going to be extremely important. Those numbers may come out good. You might see those double beats. But what I'm really going to be paying attention to here, Obi, is the guidance. And if you see companies start pricing in guidance, hey, we're going to start to cut back a little bit here, here, and here, then you're going to see the market start to react in different ways, and you might be able to get your hands on even better positioning, and that's kind of what my game plan is. Can it go the total opposite way because we are slightly oversold? Absolutely, but what the market doesn't like more than bad news is uncertainty there, Obi.
Yeah, I think again, when there's uncertainty, another good thing about uncertainty is like I like a little bit of uncertainty in the price action. Because like where most people are not necessarily willing to transact, I definitely might be a little interested in those areas over time there. That's what I'm realizing. But yeah, no, I think that's something to watch out for. Again, I'm not seeing too many tickers in the chat, guys. Like throw up some tickers in the chat. We can take a look at those. Let me know what you guys are trading. You guys know what we're trading. You can see it there on the position board. So you can ask us about our positions as well if you would like. But I would love to know what you guys are trading on the day. Lots and lots of opportunity. Again, we only have what? Just between Joe and I, that's about 4 eyes, and right. That's not too many for the amount of opportunities that could potentially be plausible in this here market. So let me know. Intel saying Sebastian. All right, so let's take a quick look at Intel. I know I like Intel. I keep an eye on it every now and then. So let's see what Intel is up to as well. Oh boy. So Intel to the downside. Wow, nice little flushy action there off of that 21 there. So a nice little continuation. So beautiful level hold there. A whole dollar hold as well. 21.04. That's coming in real nice. They're kind of holding this consolidation. Look at that flush. The only bid that kind of does show up off that morning flush kind of can't even hold above that 21.07. This high comes in, supply kind of steps right back in, and look at that beautiful kind of continuation happening there on Intel. So good stuff there, Sebastian. SMCI saying Jeremy. So let's take a quick look at SMCI as well. Yeah, seeing a little bit of a similar thing here, kind of continuation, but we were talking about this one, a little bit of a decent pullback here. 30 is the prior high right here as of right now, consolidating in and around this VWAP area at 29.41 on SMCI. I think you mean CSAI. Is this one even doing volume on the day? I don't think this one's doing much volume, so yeah, forget about that one for me. It's got a, yeah, exactly. Monty G saying, oh, he's turning on his chat scanner. Yeah, exactly. Anything for Cat. Let's see what Caterpillar is doing. Okay, all right. A little bit of a sideways chop. Opportunity definitely there. Strong legs, strong moves there on Caterpillar. Monty G saying TQs and Amazon. Yeah, Amazon, TQs I was involved with as well. Beautiful kind of a VWAP level hold there. 46 holds there at the lower high. That's been working real well. Amazon as well. You can see that 170, absolutely beautiful. This is getting me a little bit, a little bit interested in the reversion. Let's see if if we're gonna get legs. We're gonna get some legs on Amazon. I definitely want to be involved in between them here as they kind of chop. What is this range? 176 all the way to 170 here on this leg range here. So if this kind of comes in all the way even to VWAP, we're still holding that uptrend on the day. So that's something I do want to keep in mind and consider. So shout out to Monty G there for that Amazon shout out. But yeah, nice trades there. Lots of opportunity. You could have gone both ways on Amazon and still made a decent chunk and good trades to go around there. So yeah, that's kind of my my run on that one there. Still kind of chopping this 18th out, man. I'm not really seeing anything too much. What are you saying?
Yeah, I'm just talking to some people in the chat, having some good conversations here, Obi. But I added a little bit to Apple here. So yeah, let's see if that can get working. A nice bounce, Obi. I like that you pointed out the Amazon print right at VWAP as well too on the 5-minute. That was absolutely, as you would say, that was really nice as it climbed higher. And I just didn't pull the trigger on that. I don't know about you, but these are the signals that Obi and I are looking for here on Amazon. So that's a double 1 minute. Why am I running a double 1 minute? But this is a print. So someone asked in the chat, Obi, and I pointed out Amazon and Apple for these types of signatures. This is what Gorev, Los Polios, and multiple individuals of traders are looking for. I'm pretty sure Gorev is in this trade here. So really good look, but that is an absolute magnificent print. That is an A++ setup. We didn't take it, but that's okay. Nice, strong opening drive as the market was really stuck in an indecision style of price action, but then Amazon continued to move higher and higher. And then on this pullback, you see the volume by time profile really start to slow down, and then you get this print right here, and then you crack through the high day. So that is really A1 stuff. So Atul, thank you for that one. Stevenson, my guy, great week this week, even though half of my day's gains are wiped off this day's rally on the TQs and on the SPY, but still managed to be green today and this week. Great lesson. No, great job there. Fantastic for you guys. Full disclosure, I'm red, but that's okay. Do you mean like go with a vertical spread? So, okay, so great question. So when I refer to writing options, that's exactly right. You've got the right idea. So what I'm referring to is doing call credit spreads in this instance, right? Or you can do on underlying assets, you can do bull put spreads. So exactly a vertical essentially, but write the vertical so your short option will always be first. So I guess so if we were to look at it from a call standpoint, you're going to want to have that at the lower strike, and then your long call is going to be at the higher strike, and then the inverse with
or on the put side, right? So if you're going to be selling the put, you want that strike to be higher, and then you want to buy a little bit lower, and that will construct a net credit into your account. And that's kind of that's what I'm looking for. I'm not going to tell you, make sure you have stops in place. Writing options is a different world, and you have to be really familiar and comfortable with it. I would suggest that you don't start with such volatile assets, even though the VIX is increased. Start really small, only start with a couple contracts, and most definitely when you are writing, make sure that you have those stops in place, whether it be a 2-to-1, a 3-to-1 in that stop factor, all right? So make sure you take those into consideration, because you can take hefty losses when you are writing options and you do not have stops in place. This is what we got going on with Apple. We're chopping around here now, Obi. We did add right here as we climbed higher off of that 5-minute hammer. Yeah, sorry, 1 second. So what we'll do here is we're going to go through this, and that's where I added, we're going to take some off here. Let's see what Aldeyra's up to.
It's time for happening now, and actually quite a lot happening in this market today. NASDAQ bowed back down 4% to the downside. To recap, of course, we had China this morning with these 34% retaliatory tariffs marked to the downside. Market got a massive pop, especially retailers. Excuse me, after Charles Gasparino, frequent Fox News contributor, posted on X that Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary, is quietly trying to moderate Donald Trump's tariff efforts behind the scenes. And then now the market back to the downside here. Fed Chair Jerome Powell making some, I would say, cautious comments on the economy, saying the Fed does not need to be in a hurry, which a comment that was actually questioned by some reporters here at this event. He said that inflation will be moving up, but it's a little bit unclear what the monetary policy path should be. One thing he emphasized, though, that I think is of utmost importance, he said that he found these tariffs to be significantly larger than what the Fed was pricing in, so that means the economic outlook will likely, or the economic impact, sorry about that, will likely be a little bit larger than they were expecting as well. Here is AREP. This is a small cap Native American rebel, really strong today. We're looking for some upside moves. Small caps have been providing those as of late. And here is RH, one of the many retailers that popped on this tariff-related report from Charles Gasparino. RH actually halted a little bit here, nice to the upside, and it actually, it is worth noting, dropped about 40% yesterday at the close. So retailers certainly bouncing here. Keep an eye on this market. Fed Chair Powell still going to ask some questions, a lot of which are not market related. He was just asked what is purple ties, but be aware he is still speaking. We're going to see back to Neil and his lesson of the day.
Well, we're in a different market, everybody. So your lesson of the day is going to take you back to, we got to think about 2008. We got to think about 2020 with COVID. We have to think about these market crashes and the behaviors and the actions that worked around them. I'll tell you right now, there's a misnomer about 2008 specifically in the financial crisis for day traders, at least from my experience. And the assumption was that everybody just only made money coming in and shorting every single day, which was a little bit true to an extent, but there was a good portion of that time. Well, I'll tell you right now, locates weren't out there were bans on certain stocks being able to short sell, and some of your best opportunities were longs. But here's the rub. You usually get one shot, maybe two, at a good long, and you had the sniper in, and you had to be very particular about the type of long that you were taking. Like, you couldn't be just sort of averaging down into something. You really had to get that sniper turnaround, which means you had to be willing to miss the trade to make the trade. Now today, there was that type of a bottom. I don't know that I'm in full 2008 mode, let's be real about it, so my entries probably weren't that great off the low, even though they worked. But if you looked at where the SPY was, and we'll talk about capitulation bombs, the kind of thing that you usually were looking for in 08 and 2020 is the level that we saw the SPY screen from today. You go all the way back to our last panic, that's August 6th on this chart here. And everyone remembers August 6th, yen carry trade unwinds, so that's not my chart. There we go. There's the August 6th low. Now, the higher low that got put in, this is what we tested overnight. And we had bounced off that level. So immediately, technically, okay, when we're flushing, we're respecting those levels. So when we came into this bottom, I know you guys have been following the market all day long, obviously, so you have an idea of what it looked like at that low. Now, I'm not saying you sit out in front of that bid, but you want an execution strategy. Generally speaking, what I like to look at is something along these lines. There's the trend line break, there's your close above, there's your long, there's your play. The idea that you're going to just go long into it, okay, fine. If you go long into this and it holds, which it did, you're laughing. But in 08, if you did that in 08 and this broke, you're getting slipped and you're destroyed. You're taking a headshot. But like I said, willing to miss the trade to make the trade. Now, I didn't necessarily trade the SPY on this. I'll show you, this is what, same principle. This was the long on Intel when we had that bounce. There's our trend break. There's our consolidation. There's my tight stop in case things get bad, so you're not slipped. There's most out of VWAP and a trail when it breaks trend. And I did the same thing in IBIT as well. So IBIT, I got a much better entry on IBIT. Why? Because I liked IBIT for a long all day, and IBIT was one of the few, Bitcoin was one of the few things that didn't break yesterday's low. So you were trend trading down, you broke it out, was able to get into that one a little bit earlier, get out to VWAP, wait for the high of the day there. I was in way more scalp mode. This is a breakout trade, so like if I take a trade on a trend break, I tend to hold to levels. If I take a breakout, I'm jamming out a breakout trade. But those scalp trades are very, very different when you're taking it on a trend break. So we do give it past VWAP because it's just trended to the high of the day. But that's the, look, if this is the environment we're in for a longer period of time, then that level of wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, and panic is required. Unless you're just riding short in that moment. And I'll get to that in a quick second. So if you're not riding short and you're waiting for that one opportunity, it's like there's my one chance, just cue M&M music or whatever it might be. Know what you're looking, what you need to see as a leading indicator. Maybe it's a support level on the SPY or the Qs. Maybe it's, and I'm gonna go, maybe it's a top on the VIX and you're looking for the curl there for your confluence. I don't care what it is, but the second you see your signal, you get the one shot, you give yourself that tight stop, and know that when we rally off it in that type of environment, they can be really, really good. Because mean reversions are exceptionally fantastic in a very volatile market. However, trading off of those same levels, if you don't have sniper vision or dead right, can be very tricky. It's difficult to average in an environment like this. You want that one sniper entry if you can. And it should work both ways, and I'd be remiss if I didn't at least point out that sometimes the better thing to do, if the market is tanking, is to revert a short, and that does work as well. Probably should have been long Amazon, that's will stop failed, because I never got the VWAP long on Amazon. But at the end of the day, like I said, if we're in this for the long haul, longish haul, you might have to change your execution strategy. Now, I already like trend lines, I already like trend breaks. I started out doing that when I was a trader before I got into penny stocks. So that was like my foundation 20 years, over 20 years ago. So for me, it's like easy leaning in. I was never one that liked the averaging aspect of it. But there's a time and place and a time and a place for each kind of execution strategy, and you got to know the market environment you're in. It's pretty obvious the last couple of days what we're looking at here. So it's okay to sit there and not do anything for a long period of time and then just try to take one shot. That's what you have to wrap your head around, because that's how people made money in 08. I'll tell you, they took their shot, and if you got the perfect entry, you let it ride till key levels. But you were also willing to get out very, very fast, because if you're wrong early and trying to fight it in this type of a market, it's just going to be a headshot. And before I take you, and before I throw you guys back, just to prove, like, hey, I only showed you guys wins. Anybody that sits on this floor or trades real trading and is known in the head office, everybody knows that I market make on bios. I did not adjust my strategy on that side of my trading this morning and almost got headshotted today because I didn't make that adjustment. So I'm not just here talking about the mean reversion trades that did work. I'm telling you that in a certain aspect of my trading, I did not make the adjustment and barely got away with it. Thankfully, I was real close. But I'll tell you right now, everybody out there, regardless of how this plays out, at least in the short term, we're in an environment like the COVID volatility, we're in an environment like the 08 volatility, so you've got to be able to respect that. Adjust your execution strategy based on that. You don't have to throw out your levels, you don't have to throw out your entire plan, you just have to worry about the way that you're getting into trades and where you're setting those stops. So be careful, everybody, there's so much opportunity out there. Don't be mad if you're red. I mean, almost everybody that experiences this type of market for the first time, you're going to lose the first time. That's just straight up how it is. So it's all about getting better, and I hope the lesson of the day helps. I'm going to eat some dry chicken right now.
Oh, no, man. Oh, my day.
Yeah, no, you definitely have to be nimble in this market. So thank you, Neil, for that great advice there. Yeah. Don't want to get headshotted, that's for sure as well. Anything can come out with some sort of news in this market, and boom, like Rip City, either to the upside or to the downside, you never know, right? And yeah, reversions as well, absolutely beautiful, right? Like when things are at high increased levels of volatility, yeah, definitely going to be watching out for some reversions. Reversion playbook's definitely coming in pretty nicely on when the VIX is pretty high as well, but yeah. I'm getting used to it as well. I'm kind of going through the motions. And yeah, it is definitely not easy, and even though sometimes it can be pretty straightforward. That's the thing. That's what I'm finding. So, how's your day going so far? I see that the Apple.
Yeah, it's been a rough one. I told you about it earlier. Same with yesterday as well too. That's all right. We'll get back on. Yeah, I was going over some of my monthly stats here, OB. So. Yeah, we've got some things to clean up. There's no questioning that, but not overly worried about it. We'll get the train rolling once again. So yeah, we'll get that playmaker poll up here momentarily there, guys. So we still got the other poll up, but I know Aldeyra's been covering this stuff all day. But Trump has constructive call with Vietnam, and I think Nike and others. So on Wednesday, Trump slapped Vietnam with a 46% tariff there, guys, claiming that the Asian country charges the USA rate of 90% when it included currency manipulation and trade barriers. So Trump said Vietnam wants to cut their tariffs down to zero. So there you go. That's a positive sign already, bringing people to the negotiation table already, and that's what we want to see. And that's what I was referring to earlier. Is that are they going to be stuck at the percentage that we see them right now at the end of the year? No, I don't think so. I think this is more of a negotiation tactic. How's your Nike shirt going there, Obi?
Yeah, no, I got eyes on this market here. Amazon with a little bit of a retest of its high day there. I gotta kind of remove this wick here so we can see the chart a little bit better here. Let's see which one is the outlier here. This wick goes all the way to 195. Oh boy, that's definitely not true here. I gotta click. I gotta zoom in a little bit and then click on this one right here. And boom, there's the 190. So we can just make that 177. I think we'll be okay for now. Yeah, there it is. So a little bit of a better perspective of said chart. Here you can see that we're pulling back up into that 178. So still, we traded above this high, this prior high here, and you can see now we're just consolidating at the highs there. So yeah, Amazon relatively strong. You can see we kind of talked about how it is one of the only Mag 7s that's showing this kind of relative strength as of right now. So definitely one to keep an eye on and one to watch out for is that Amazon. But yeah, let me know in the chat what you guys are watching, what you guys are trading. Let's see, Arab tab. Okay, so look at Lulu. Okay, take a quick look at Lulu as well, and see what's going on here with Lulu. Okay, so Lulu, kind of a same kind of story here. I guess I'm trading the same kind of trade here on Nike. A lot of these consumer tickers bidding up on some tariff news as well. Definitely a little bit of a counter trend on my part here, as again the sector seems to be holding up pretty well. XLY is what I'm watching here. Consumer discretionary here, so you can see a little bit of a hold on that view up as we push a little bit, we catch a little bit of a bid as of right now. So keeping it on watch. But yeah, let us know what you guys are trading. And yeah, did you have, coming into today, when you hear about like tariffs and you're just like, all right, well, you know, in certain countries, did you have specific names, specific businesses in mind coming into the day today? Just maybe being like, okay, well, that business might be more affected than others on the day, and I might want to be involved with that one. Did you?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think that was Amazon for me, right?
Okay.
Discretionary. Brings in things from all over the world, so now those are going to be taxed. Is Amazon, and I want to ask you this, do you believe that Amazon is a necessity or more of a privilege?
What do you mean, like for the consumer?
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, it's a little bit of both, because it does give you the convenience of, you know, like ordering something, having it there for you by tomorrow. It's definitely a little bit, it's very, very convenient, right? And that's why they make the big bucks, because they've provided that kind of service to people, right? So, yeah, I don't know if it's a necessity necessarily, but it does save you a lot of time. I think it potentially has become a necessity for a lot of people, I can definitely say that, for sure. But, yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of
just like a grocery store would be a necessity for a lot of people as well, right? So
well, that I can, that's a staple for sure. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Gaurav says privilege. A lot of people say it's a necessity. It's a bit of a mixed bag there, so maybe we'll get that poll up there momentarily. But that's a good question, I think, there, Obi. And to answer yours more, I think Amazon was something that I would be definitely looking at, and in some retail spaces, like how you have the eyes on Nike there too.
Yeah, for sure.
That's definitely what I was looking at. Yeah, guys, so we got this poll up here. Make sure you get those votes in. Let's see who's winning this. Tesla thus far, 41%. Good look there. We're going to get the Playmaker poll up momentarily and start getting those votes in. So, yeah, good luck there, guys. Let's see what everybody else thinks. Yeah, AWS is exactly, right? I am Carter. That is very important. Amazon Web Services is definitely the breadwinner. I agree with you on that front. Netflix should not be affected by tariffs. So I wonder why. Yeah, that's a great point as well too, and that's what I was thinking with the likes of Meta, exactly. So, Amazon groceries, a lot of people are referring to, but again, I think you can just go to the store and get those. But yeah, let's take a look at MSTR and see what's going on. Apple's starting to come in here, guys, rejecting the volume weighted average price, running into some support levels, which I think are really important. Before we touch on some of the other names, so you can see we just got a little app, but now we're running into this shelf here and starting to break through this. The volume on the lower time frames is definitely starting to dwindle as well. So let's see if this is just going to be a liquidity grab and then you take that additional leg higher. But one thing to note here, Obi, is that in a lot of these names, we are constructing that lower high. So you can see opening drive really strong here in Apple. We punch through view up, and then now we can't break through this downtrend here, and now running through some key support levels heading to the downside. So that is it right there. We got the Playmaker pull up. Obi, are you voting short or long today?
On this here market?
On the Playmaker poll.
I mean, if I were to be a trend follower, which I try to do sometimes, I would probably go short.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Following the trend.
Making it simple. The path of least resistance.
Yes.
That's I think that's kind of the way it is.
There.
Going there exactly. You don't want to make it too.
Oh boy, there goes XLY dumping into its VWAP. That's a little bit of a pullback there. Oh boy, let's see if Nike and some of these other retail names pull in as well. We kind of pull back off of that 18,000. So the futures are trading a little bit lower here as we pull into that noon hour right now here. So 58s we're trading below here on Nike, and yeah, let's see if the futures can print some fresh lows on the day, or do we just kind of continue to chop a little sideways? No idea, right? Still trading within that range. Haven't really done anything too crazy as of right now either way, right? A lot of volatility we're seeing on individual names for the most part, and maybe catalyst driven names as well, obviously on watch. Yeah, no, other than that, let me know what sectors you guys had on watch. I know a lot of people were watching oil, maybe some commodities. I know that gold was pushing some fresh highs as of recent as well. So we can take a quick look at gold and see what that's up to right now. Gold here, yeah, we can go to the commodity and just take a quick look at what gold is up to. Again, all-time highs very recently, right? Let's go straight up to 1 week here. 1 week on gold. Boom, look at that. 3167 is that high on gold, all-time high, if I'm not mistaken there. But yeah, you can see that on a 15-minute chart. We've been taking a little bit of a pullback here on the day off of those highs. We kind of made those highs, when is this, Wednesday evening around 8 p.m. So just a couple nights ago there. Gold pushed some fresh highs back down to that 3,000 level as of right now, just printing that 3,026.50 as of right now on gold. So a nice little push there. I know that a lot of people trade GLD as well. GLD one to keep an eye on. You can see, look at that nice little flush off of the open. So getting that continuation to the downside alongside with that gold move is GLD on the day. So yeah, a little bit of a push there. But yeah, let me know are you guys involved. Jameson saying SMR. Yeah, let's take a quick look at SMR here on the day. Again, these are those nuclear reactor tickers here, SMR, small modular reactors. So this one a little bit to the downside here, kind of a bigger picture trade. These names have been selling off a little bit after their moves over the past few months there on the day. And I think IONQ selling off on the day here as well. Let's take a quick look at QBTS and QUBT also selling off. QUBT. So yeah, some strong selling across the board on some of those names that were moving pretty aggressively. Yeah, now maybe taking a little bit of a pullback right now.
Yeah, valid point there, guys. A lot of people pointing out some good names here as well too. Obi, American Rebel Holdings. This thing's starting to really start soar here on the session. So we're over. Wow. Okay, that is crazy. This is definitely Sharif's world. So we open up at 7, and then we climb to about a high of 1678, putting us at 112% return here intraday, guys. Let's take a look at some of these pre-market lows because we're trading at $2 this morning, and then we climb all the way up to 17, like I said before. So 300% on that front. So Tisha, I know Tisha has been trading that one, and a lot of individuals in the chat have been calling that out. So good work there. And then my buddy there, beer producer in the chat, was talking about Snapchat there. Obi saying, hey, Gen Z is using it. I personally still use it. It's the only social media platform that I essentially have on my phone. Do you have Instagram?
I do.
Okay, you have Instagram. Do you have X obviously as well too?
Yes, I use X a lot, yeah.
Okay, so as for like social media, I'm only on Snap. I use X here on the show and at the computer, but on my phone I only have that one social media platform. So yeah, this is a good look here. Still waiting on some more of this TikTok news because if it does get banned here in the States, it's going to benefit, I believe, Instagram and Snapchat. So that is, yeah, that's a good look. It's trading really well. Nice indecision print at these lows. So positive look there on Snapchat and AREB. Those are really good traders here on the day. That is definitely Sharif's world, AERB, considering it's up 300%. We had a pre-market low of $2, and then now it's trading around $17. So that's a really good look on that front. We got out of this Apple trade here as well too, guys. So you can see that we entered on that hammer, took some off, added, got a little bit out there, and then just as soon as we broke that support level, I just got out of the trade because it looks like the market
is going to want to go and test some of these lows, Obi. And what did I do when I'm like, oh, okay, we're continuing to sell off here? What is that next level on the options chain? What are they telling me, and where can we find some possible levels of support? And what I'm seeing right now here, Obi, is at 510 on today's expiration cycle, April 4th, on the SPY, 510, 13,000 open contracts. Let's see if we can hold that base. We already put in a low of 510.25 roughly, right? So we've already held up that level. That's acting as support. Let's see if it can come into play once again.
Yeah, this bid is coming in pretty aggressive here on Nike, so distinctly different from the rest of the market, which continues to sell off pretty aggressively here. You can see that Amazon taking a little bit of a pullback, so we did pull back pretty aggressively off of that 18,000 there. 17,800 coming into play as of right now here on the NQ, and then yeah, what is that on? We just got below that 5,200 as well on the ES. So something to watch out for. We're printing fresh lows, so the selling is coming in on a few of these names in the market, but some names distinctly different. Again, you can see some of these consumer discretionaries continuing to catch a little bit of a bid, looking distinctly different. So yeah, it seems like it's very obvious where some of the buying is going in this market, and money maybe selling or coming out of some other things as well. So a lot of panic potentially. The fear index, like you said earlier, right? Definitely on watch on the day today. So.
Yeah, valid point there, Obi. We got another $5, oops, wrong one, $5 super chat from Kiara K. A prophecy from the Holy Spirit. Okay, I've said this for weeks. We will see the biggest stock crash in history. America will do well long term. God bless. Okay, I mean, I don't know about in history. The Great Depression was pretty hectic. I don't know if we're gonna compare some reciprocal tariffs to that, some tariff news. We are pricing those things in there, Obi. I don't know how you think about that. Do you think it's going to be the biggest stock market crash in history?
I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? I think that definitely you got to stay open. Right?
What is that? Okay, now I gotta. Okay, now I gotta type this into my good friend here, Copilot. What is the largest crash in?
I think today we're contesting one of the larger drawdowns. I think, yeah, for sure.
What compared to COVID?
Yeah.
Today. So all right, the largest stock market crash in history, widely considered to be the Wall Street crash of 1929, also known as the Great Crash. Let's see, the industrial average loses nearly 89% of its value and peaks in September 29 to its lowest point in 1932. So let's see if that is, so 89%. I don't know if we're gonna get down in 89% there in the Dow Jones there. I don't know how you feel about that, brother.
No, I don't think. Well, we'll see. You never. Like I say, I'm gonna keep an open mind there, and just try to go with the flow as best as possible, and try to make the best decisions. Right. Whenever I get myself in a sticky situation, I find myself there because I might not have been making the best decisions on the day on it. But it is what it is. We kind of learn. We move on. No, just in general on Nike, maybe a little bit here on Nike as well. But I got inventory that I kind of liked. I'm kind of gonna let it work here. Maybe risking a little too much, but I'll let that trade kind of maybe come into fruition. This market's coming in real hot to the downside, man. Oh boy. Yeah, that's some aggressive kind of pulling in. So 17.7's now coming into question here on the NASDAQ. It seems like the ES wants to make a run for its day low. That's where we got a little bit of a bid right off of the open. You can see here on that 9, this was about 10:45 it seems here on this chart. So yeah, maybe we caught a bid off of there. Let's see if that bid kind of comes in here as we accelerate to the downside back into some of those areas where we might have found some demand on the day. So I'm going to be patient. I'm watching. I'm waiting. Just letting this Nike kind of just do it here and consolidate. So consolidating much higher. So maybe not the best look for me. Trying to revert it back into VWAP. But again, I'm going to stay a little bit patient here. Market's coming in real nice. Let's see if that bid shows up, Joe.
Yeah. Good luck there, Obi. So let's see if you start to pull back here. One thing I was noting, that's why I was reading it to you too, Obi, is that Vietnam dropping those tariffs. So that could be a strong bullish case, I guess. for Nike. It is holding up really, really well here.
Yeah.
So let's see if that starts to break down as the market is coming in. We'll pull up Nike here real quick because I know Obi's been covering it. And I want to take a look at it briefly here too. It's still negative on the day though, surprisingly. So again, forming kind of this bullish flag here type price action, nice compression pattern. But I think what Obi and I are going to be looking for here is some indecisions at this peak. Oh, so it's still it went positive. Sorry, guys.
Yeah,
Positive 5.5%. We're going to be looking for some indecision prints at these highs and look for that move back to VWAP there. So that's a good look. You can definitely come into play, Obi, because the market is really, really weak. I mentioned high levels of OI on the SPY. Let's see if 510 holds up, and then we can maybe get a bounce there. NVDA is all the way down to $93. I was talking to my good buddy Greg V the other day, and I'm like, can we get into possibly like the high 80s in this name? And I'm curious to know in the chat, are you guys going to be buying NVDA at these levels, right? We're down 8% today, and we've been putting in these almost these double-digit sessions quite often for the past couple of days here in NVDA, going from a high of about 106 to a low of just around 100 here on NVDA yesterday, and then now opening up at around, sorry, let me pull up my crosshairs to see. So we open up around 102, and then now we're south of that, about $93. So yeah, let me know. Are you guys is NVIDIA attractive to you at these prices, or are you gonna just wait for things to continue to cool off? Do you remember when Neil says you don't need? No, I don't remember that, to be honest with you. So Tisha Perkins, ARB has been really open chart with no significant levels up to the 200 EMA 54. Not saying it gets there, but with the micro floats, okay, so that's good. So a lot of float rotation. How is it moving? We have room. Let's go. Nice work there, Tisha. As always, are you waiting for pharma tariffs, or how do you feel? I mean, not necessarily pharma tariffs. I want to see how a lot of these countries react. Once you get to those negotiation tables, everybody starts talking more, and the chances of some of these tariffs being reduced, I think it's there, and we'll wait for that news to come out, and we'll be able to see that within the market price action as well too. So the more countries that are like, hey, let's start talking about this, hit the negotiation table and come to a solution, I think we'll be able to find a market bounce there for sure, Obi.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something to watch out for here. So a lot of people talking about Nvidia. I'm seeing a lot of Nvidia here in the chat, so we can take a quick look at Nvidia and see what that ticker is up to on the day today. Again, we kind of talk about the VWAP sellers being in charge, and it seems like we're seeing a little bit more of the same here on the day. 96 is that VWAP currently, and we're seeing kind of lower highs, lower lows. That lowest low of the day, that low a day right there, coming in at 92.11. So that was a sharp little drop there, and a beautiful kind of, maybe some would call it a little capitulatory there, and we get that bid right back up into VWAP. Nice little reversion, about just over 50% of a reversion there, back up into VWAP. So interesting action there, but coming right back in again. These futures are heavy. Sellers have been stepping in and stepping down as well over the past few days, as well as over the past couple of weeks at the very least. So I think again, that is something definitely that I want to keep in mind. And with uncertainty, like Joe was saying earlier, with tariffs and everything, yeah, maybe there is some selling that can potentially be coming in, and we're seeing some of that selling coming in, and maybe potentially confirming that bigger picture action and move on these markets. But yeah, we were just talking about this last week. I think we've been bidding up pretty nicely for the past 2 years, right? Yeah. And you were talking about, oh, is the market poised for a big correction? Maybe. Who knows? I don't know. But you got to remember, every few years you get that 10, 15, 20, 30% correction. Yeah. And yeah, that's more than healthy in the bigger picture in the long term as well. So
yeah, I agree with you, Ruby. Yeah, I agree with you on that front. I mean, we can't just go up all the time, right? Like it would be.
Stocks only go up.
Yeah, but I mean,
maybe on 6 and 12 month charts.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you're gonna have some correction, and but it's good to see that people in the chat, they're like, hey, yeah, a lot of people chiming in on the NVDA front. They're like, hey, yeah, I'm waiting at 80s. I grabbed a little bit more, 25% more in the account. So people are finding it attractive at these levels. So that's a really positive sign. So so let's see what we got going on in the chat. Adrian Dotman, what's going on? Hey, Joseph, do you think it makes sense to buy call options on these Meg 7s like 3 or 4 months from now, buying calls out of the money, like 15%, depending on the stock? Yeah, so what I was referring to earlier is that just be aware that you are going to be paying a heightened premium, right? Because the volatility has increased, and with that, you're going to be paying IV. So, and as IV starts to decay, if the market does want to rebound, that can also hinder the value of those contracts unless the underlying is really appreciating. I was referring to selling options, like writing some puts. Like I like maybe to write some puts potentially on Hood here and create a bull put spread. Like a week out or so, because those premiums are pretty nice. So if we put in a base here around 34, exactly what we're trading around roughly, and we go to those 10 deltas, we can still collect some half decent change here. And if you're constructing the spread, like you're collecting just under $50 a contract on that, which isn't horrible. So if you were to do combinations and like a $5 spread, you can still collect the majority of that. So what was I looking at? The 34s, we'll go to the 29s. So yeah, I mean, you can definitely, but just be wary that if you are buying, you are going to be paying for that implied volatility. So let's see what everybody else is going on. I know there's another options question here. I have a couple Tesla 220 puts, expiration 4/11, bought them a couple weeks ago, and cashed one option in earlier today for 165% profit. I have the other couple opinion if you think Tesla tanks. I mean, it sounds like you know what you're doing so far. Is Tesla going to climb lower? We'll take a look at it from a daily perspective here, Obi, just to see what we got going on, and are we headed towards some of those support levels? That's the 5 minute on Tesla. Let's zoom out to the day. 220 by next Friday. I mean, we're not too far, and you know what Tesla can go, can be like, how it trades, especially in high volatility markets. It's nothing for it to put in a $20, $30 day, whether it be negative or positive. Can we get there? Maybe, but that's right at the support level. What we can do here, Obi, is take a look at the chain on next week's expiration cycle to see what the market is telling us here, and what is 220 telling us. There is quite some, there's 67 100 open contracts right there. But as for getting through that, I mean, it doesn't look like there's too much resistance. So that's what I would look at. Just build a plan, a thesis on what you're going to go, what you're going to do. 167, there you go. You're getting that dump in the market. Nice work there. So yeah, just build up that trade plan. Could you get there? Very much possibly. But again, locking in some of those gains is good. Show them we got going on there on.
Yeah, no, the Nike flushes right into its anchored view up and then bids right back up there. So I got to see what that was. I kind of low. Down to 66 is, oh boy, and then an instant bid right back up into 55, the 58. That's pretty aggressive there. The bid potentially coming in. Wow, this could be pretty nasty here. Market came down into that 17.7 mark there, and yeah, so got to keep an eye on this one here as that volatility again coming back into these here markets, and Nike giving us a strong. That's a really strong shake and bake there, back down to the downside. Wow, we actually went down to 57. What's that low there? Right into the anchored. So it seems like there are definitely players that are defending this anchored view up off of the event. The low is 66. I have the anchored sitting at 69. That's 57.69 there here on Nike. So wow, what a move there. And yeah, sometimes it's crazy. People just just flash into the bid, and then maybe there's a strong bid that's just sitting there, and they're like, this is a great price, wipe it right back up, And yeah, that was a wild move there. So I'm kind of watching here and waiting to see what happens next. But yeah, that was definitely a little significant, maybe potential bid showing here on Nike. So the market's taking a little bit of a bounce as well, so we've got to keep an eye on that. Let me know in the chat what you guys are trading. Again, going to be more than glad to go over some of those tickers here. Amazon still trending to the upside. Tesla downtrend still happening. TQ's downtrend still happening. Alphabet still trading sideways, so pretty crazy there on that one. A lot of things kind of directional, and some of these Mag 7s not really doing much, just trading sideways and doing a little bit of nothing there. Man, that bid was aggressive. That's sometimes, again, this happened to me yesterday as well. Like, we were talking about that moment. Like, it comes in real fast. You go down to the second chart, and that price action happened within a few seconds, and then it was corrected right away with the bid flashing right back up. Over 30, 40 pennies on a ticker like Nike, so definitely showing a little bit of demand on top of that 57.5, it would seem, here on Nike. But XLY I'm watching as well. XLY is trading below its view up. It has been trending a little bit lower here, so that's, I guess, potentially a good sign there for maybe a reversion. But maybe that's all she wrote. If this came in about 50%, right? So I got to keep that in mind and keep that in consideration as well. Nike pretty much gave me the move that I was looking for down to its anchored, and it bid right back up within a second. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to be a little bit patient here. It's seeming like the trade is pretty much done now, though.
Yeah, I'm frozen here, Obi, so we'll have to, I'm just waiting for it to kind of reload here, so, yeah. I mean, I can go on with a couple of things here. It looks like, so essentially you can see here, guys, what I'm looking at on NVDA is that we potentially have the inability to construct a new low. So that could be a good sign here as the market grabs a little bit of a bounce. One thing to just know from a strength standpoint is that IBIT is holding up relatively strong here, and that's a really, really positive signal for Bitcoin itself. So going to be patient and wait. Neil had some really, really good trades on it. I actually took a couple of attempts here and just got like stopped out by a penny, and that's why I usually don't use hard stops, OB. It's because I just find that they get hunted. But I'm good with sticking with mentals. All right, let's see what Aldeyra's up to.
I suppose I'm mentioning here, more companies reportedly delaying their plans for IPOs. We know Klarna and Wall Street Journal earlier reporting that Klarna is one of them here that has already decided to delay its IPO, again, just to report at this point. But also now we're hearing that other companies reportedly delaying their IPOs are Chime, Circle Financial, and Hinge. So lots of these companies have watched IPO this year, reportedly delaying this process. As we have some tariff uncertainty, that was at least was attributed for the Klarna IPO delay. Back to you.
Yeah, thank you for that, Aldeyra. So yeah, a nice look here in Bitcoin. I see some people chiming in on the chat saying they still don't necessarily love it, and that's okay. But one thing, yeah, exactly, that's all right. We can't always like everything, can we? But here we go. So that I mean, if we crack through this here on spot itself, on the actual underlying, then I could definitely see us heading back into the middle of this range here. So that could be a tough signal, but we're holding up pretty strong. I do like that we're constructing those higher lows. That's a positive signal. There is a lot of resistance, overhead resistance that we do need to get through. You can see that we have this kind of cooking up, and price is really starting to compress. So now for me, it's just a matter of which way are we going to break, right? Like so. And the thing that I wanted to note as well too, and I was thinking about just a simplistic shower thought is, okay, now that the institutions have the ability to hedge Bitcoin, and I was listening to analysts saying, does this affect the volatility of it? And as of now, my answer is going to be yes, because I don't think Bitcoin has been putting in as volatile sessions as it used to about a year or so ago, or a year or two ago, right? So I don't know how you feel about that, Obi, but you can definitely see slightly more tame than what it was before.
No, I think the thing with Bitcoin and a lot of these speculative assets is like the volatility comes and goes. It is kind of cyclical as well. Even in something like Bitcoin, again, it's had those 50, 60, 70% drops in the past. If you go look at some of that relative price action, so volatility comes and goes. There are times where Bitcoin is pretty much very much dead, right? It's not really doing too much, and then there are times where it's going crazy, volatile, it's making moves overnight, and yeah, those are the times where it potentially can be in play, and those are the times you might want to have eyes on it as well. But the other times, yeah, it might be difficult to kind of trade, difficult to kind of really extract anything out of if it's not necessarily in play. But again, in play can have a lot of different definitions, and it really depends. It's very subjective to you and your own playbook as well, right? So do you have the data? Do you have the edge? Do you have the idea that will work in that specific kind of scenario in that market? Then yeah, definitely things can be very eventful here. Eventful this market a little bit here on the day, but as of right now, I'm not really doing too much, just chopping around, man. Like I still got eyes on a few things. I'm not doing anything too crazy here. But yeah, let us know if you guys are seeing anything too crazy. The VIX has kind of settled down here. A lot of this price action has started to settle down on the day. Nothing too crazy. We're not really getting continuations. We're getting more sideways chop than anything. So maybe we're just waiting for the last couple of hours of the trading day. Again, it is a Friday, and we've had a pretty epic week, if I do say so myself here in the market. So again, I'm curious to know how we close. How does this week candle at the end of the week? How does that weekly candle close? It should be interesting to find out and see. Aura Alpha saying, are we breaking the bottom? Well, I don't know, man. I have no idea if we're breaking any bottoms here, but things are consolidating sideways, right? That's what I'm saying. Right. We're attempting to try to get to the bottom of both the ES and NASDAQ. Not quite there just yet, but again, kind of trending down, so maybe we're poised to come in for a little bit of a test and knock on the door of that low day there. But there are tickers that are trading at their low day. If you look at Softy's at low day there. Softy, again, for the past couple of days was relatively much stronger. Yeah. Right? And today it's showing a little bit more action that's more in line with the futures here, as the futures trade near their lows there. That's distinctly different from something like a Google or like an Amazon. Google's trading pretty much sideways there. Amazon's trading near its highs. Nvidia trading roughly near its lows, but yeah, that wake up was pretty nice as well. But yeah, there's some selling coming in. Oh boy, what do we do in and around here? That Nike's coming into its anchored again. So
is it?
I'm curious to know. Are buyers still defending this level? That wick earlier was pretty nasty there. That was a low of 66s. We're trading 66s on the bid as of right now. Let me pull up. Oh boy, let me pull up the book for you.